Well, folks, I can't say that I'm surprised. At this juncture, quite frankly, I am nearly completely desensitized. Oh, welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. And the free fall continues, riding a two-game losing streak. The New Jersey Devils headed to Pittsburgh looking to take on the Penguins. A lot of tough talk from some of the players before the game. We're going to respond and we're going to do this and that. And in the end, the Devils go out and lose to the Pittsburgh Penguins by a score of 4-1. It is now a three-game losing streak. They have been outscored by a 13-1 margin over the last two games. And quite frankly, I have to say the season is over. I mean, I'm not going to be too animated. I don't even have a rant in me at this point. I am so dejected. I am so beaten down. I mentally accepted a few weeks ago this group likely was not going to make the playoffs. And in my opinion, the Hurricanes game a few days ago was kind of the beginning of the end. Looking to finally kind of get that monkey off their back. Did not do it. Blow the game. Not even blow the game. They just lose the game. Obviously, Luke Hughes gets booed. That whole thing, that becomes way bigger of a story than it should have been. And then heading into the island, this is going to be the big response game, right? Carolina kicked our ass again, and poor Luke got booed, and the fans are terrible and all these things. And they get absolutely pumped by the Islanders by a score of 9-0. And that should have brought about change. Many people thought that it would. And I will say delusionally, obviously, win or lose, we booze, guys. We are just downing our sorrows in loser beverages on the regular. Cheers to all of you. I'm still going with the Surfsides. What is this one? This is a peach one. These are pretty good. They taste a lot better as victory drinks, but you know what? Loser beverages it is. 3 games in a row. But to get pummeled 9-0 on the island with, no penalties, no one showing any aggression, no fight, no one looking to do anything, a complete lay down and die game. Obviously, many of you were here for at least portions of that post-game live where I basically said, this team has completely checked out. They've showed us who they are. They laid down and died in what should have been a big response game. And then it was like, no, tonight's going to be the response game. I fully expected them to lose tonight. I wouldn't have been shocked if they had won, just because, even a blind squirrel finds a nut here and there. And we have traditionally done very well against the Penguins. And so I thought it was possible, but I fully was expecting a loss. And a loss it was. A loss it was. We get to the scoring, and at 6:39, Erik Karlsson beats Allen, gives the Pens the 1-0 lead. That's how the first would end. We get to the second. Connor Dewar makes it 2-0, hops out of the box, gets behind everybody, comes in on the breakaway, scores 2-0. And at that point, I knew the game was over. I mean, I was pretty much defeated after the first goal, to be honest. We all know this team plays horribly when they have to catch up. And then it was 2-0. Then Malkin adds one on the power play to make it 3-0 in the closing minute of the second. 3-0 after 2. Game, set, match. Devils have nothing to climb out of a hole like that. We get to the third, and Luke gets one on the power play. It was a nice shot, but I mean, what does it matter? A fifth goal of the season from Luke, from Dougie and Big Brother Jack, cut the lead to 3-1, and that was it. Lizotte adds one later in the third. Final score 4-1. The New Jersey Devils again outscored by a margin of 13-1 over the last 2 games, and that is pretty damn pitiful. Game stats: Devils 26 shots on goal, Penguins at 29. Devils 55.9% of the faceoffs to the Penguins 44.1%. Devils 1 for 2 on the power play for 50%. Pens go 1 for 3 on the power play, 33.3%. Devils at 25 hits. I mean, that's encouraging, but in the end, who cares, right? They got to win games, and they're not. Pens with 10 hits. That's pathetic. Devils 19 block shots. Penguins 16 block shots. Devils 21 giveaways, Pens 23 giveaways, Devils 6 takeaways, the Pens with 5 takeaways. And those are your game stats. If there's anything even worth talking about here. Timo Meyer, 3 shots, 2 blocks, and a hit. Paul Cotter coming back after being scratched 3 games, 2 blocks and 2 hits for him. Grits had 3 shots. Jack Hughes had 3 shots. Obviously in the assist. Dilly with a game high, 6 hits. Dougie with 2 shots, 2 hits. Shimo Nemitz coming back from a long injury. Glad to see him back. 3 shots and a block. Pesci with 2 blocks. Luke Hughes with the goal, a shot, 2 blocks, 2 hits, 2 giveaways. Siegs with a shot and 3 blocks. And Jake Allen makes 25 saves on 29 shots. That is your player stats. And we get to the deserve to win a meter. And obviously the New Jersey Devils did not deserve to win this game. Reflected in the meter here. And wow, 39.1%. But it doesn't matter because the New Jersey Devils lay another egg. And while I've told you guys I believe Fitz is bulletproof, I could totally see Keefe getting scapegoated here and canned. Maybe not tomorrow. Maybe it could be tomorrow, but I think depending on what do we got? 2 more games on the road. Yeah, Sunday afternoon against the Jets and Monday night at Minnesota. Oh man, Quinn Hughes is going to go off against us. I think Fitz probably doesn't coach another home game for the Devils if I had to predict. I think he will be scapegoated by Fitz. He will be the fall guy. This core will cost, underperforming core, will cost another head coach their job. And it's unfortunate. Keefe did lose a lot of points in my book with some of the post-game pressers. Tonight was another one where I was not thrilled with, what he had to say. But, this is pretty much as dark as it gets, guys. We are living in dark, dark times. There is nothing positive about this team right now. If I had to reach for something positive, I would say, we have 2 pretty good, solid young players in Grits and Shimo Nemitz. But the reality is they're RFAs. Tom Fitzgerald could find a way to botch that. And they're both going to get fat raises this summer. And so, it's exciting to have them in the organization. Obviously, I can't be excited about the future right now while we are living amidst another season that was supposed to be one of the bright years that is quickly going down the tubes. And it's just a depressing time. And they're both going to get paid. So, them on somewhat market value or close to market value contracts is not, it's not like they're these great players that are on low contracts. Like, they're both going to get paid. But it is what it is. This team is just absolutely brutal. There does not seem to be any sort of meaningful change on the horizon. And the only change I think could happen potentially is Sheldon Keefe being relieved of his duties as the fall guy because of an inept general manager and a core that has never won and never will. And that is the sad reality. We get to the chat. Appreciate everyone for coming out. Cheers. Drown your sorrows. Loser beverages for all. Jason says trade the whole core. Listen, you guys know where I'm at with all this. Anyone is up for trade, assuming there is a fair deal in place and a decent offer. I would consider trading everyone and anyone right now. Nothing is off the table. Alex says, why would you want to play for a team that doesn't want you? I'm assuming that's in reference to Dougie. And I hate to say it, I do think it's a very telling kind of thing about any player. In this case, it would be Dougie. But if a team goes to, and you have to understand, obviously you make, $9 million. We have defensemen coming back from injury and we could use the roster spot. Right. And so, if you're Dougie Hamilton, I understand you negotiated for that clause and are probably settled in the area and don't want to relocate and potentially go to another city. But in the end, if you're Dougie Hamilton and you care about winning whatsoever, I would have begged them to trade me. He has to know that this team sucks and they're never going to go anywhere. And so he's just content with collecting his check, not uprooting his life, and continually playing for a loser team. I mean, that's honestly an indictment of his mentality. That just shows he doesn't give a shit about winning and is fine with just staying on the sinking ship. I mean, my God, if I was a player, I'd be like, get me out of here. This place is dysfunctional. Ship me somewhere where I have a chance of winning. Bizarre situation, but I do think, I'll get to that in a minute, but I do think the Quinn Hughes deal being fumbled did play a lot in terms of the off ice kind of soap opera and probably has led to some of this stench that we're seeing. David, thank you for the super. Ace, who do you want as a key replacement? Quick answer would be Torts. Always like Torts. I can't see them ever hiring Torts because I think Tom Fitzgerald knows that this group is, aside from being physically soft, they're definitely very mentally soft, as evidenced by so many things. But I do think a guy like John Tortorella is the type of coach that this group needs. But the reality is, I think their fragile psyches would not be able to handle it. And I think he would literally break some guys. I do think he would be such a huge difference from anything they've seen before and that they're used to, that it would be a shock to their central nervous systems that they would not be able to handle. And I think some of these guys would be just completely broken. Completely broken. And so for that reason, I do not think Fitz would ever do it. But my short answer would be Torts. I'm trying to think. I haven't really thought about this too much because I never thought it was a possibility. But now I think, the way everything's shaking out, it could be setting the table for this poor guy to get whacked and be the scapegoat. But short answer would be Torts. Certainly would not be against DeBoer. I know a lot of people have been talking about him. I think DeBoer is a pretty good coach, and I certainly would not, be against that as well. But it's unfortunate for Keefe. I do think he could be a good coach, but he's never gotten support from the GM the way he should. And he inherited a rotten core like the one he moved on from in Toronto. Prezify, thank you for the super. Any and all players should be on the table. Every single player on this team. This core will never win a single thing. We're in for a few long years. No, I agree. There's no one off the table. I'm certainly taking calls on anyone. If there's GMs out there kind of circling, looking at guys, I'm definitely fielding their offers. I'm not saying I'm going to just jump at any deal for the sake of making deals, but I certainly will entertain what some of these guys have to say. And if there's any hockey moves to be made that will improve the team, I would certainly, go down that road if the right opportunities present themselves. I do think that this core as constructed will never win a single thing, unfortunately. Once upon a time, and even up until a few weeks ago, I did believe if the right complementary pieces were brought in some way, somehow, despite the Devils cap nightmare situation, that this core could be good. But I do think at least one of them has to be shipped to send a message and really kind of start that foundational shakeup that I've been talking about for a while now. And we probably are in for some tough years. It's unfortunate. We could only hope that a competent GM comes in here at some point and can start the salvage process to clean up the insane mess that Tom Fitzgerald has put this team in. And there's so many layers to it, but I do think a competent GM can not maybe perfectly fix it, but definitely get it to a level where it's not the chaos we're living through right now. Sunrise Arts, thank you for the super. It makes me sick to my stomach that this coach will get fired and Fitz will stay under his rock in his compound, and most people will think this great change happened. Yeah, that is the kind of unfortunate reality, with sports, is the perception or kind of magic trick sleight of hand. We changed. And a lot of people, I've talked about this, because it's easier to kind of shift blame to an individual being the coach. It's much easier for people to rationalize that in their heads than the reality that this core that many people are in love with is just a bunch of career losers. I mean, that's the reality. I love these guys too, but as a group, they are career losers. And so I think people still want to hold out hope that these guys are capable of getting it done. To me, it's painfully obvious that that's not the case, but people will cling on to that forever for their own kind of emotional reasons. And so they turn the kind of animus and venom towards the coach. It's Keefe's fault, but how many coaches have been here with the majority, or at least the 3 of the 4 of the core, and have never been able to get it done. And so you start scapegoating guys like Lindy. Travis Green doesn't get a chance to be the real coach after his brief interim stint. And now Keefe, and it's like, it's not all these coaches' faults. This group ain't it. And I think that's painfully obvious. A reality that a lot of people do not want to come to terms with, but it is the painful reality. This core is not it. It's pretty obvious. But we will see. I do think the most likely change we will see, again, because it's the easiest, the path of least resistance, is to fire Keefe. And some people will be happy with that. They will think that this is some sort of trade this is a move that will push the team in the right direction. But I don't think any coach is getting much more out of this team or will fix it, right? I don't think any coach is fixing this. I think the roster is very flawed, and obviously the GM is a huge problem. And so for the illusion and the optics of it, the most likely thing probably is we see Keefe fired, which is unfortunate, but this is what sports teams do, and it is what it is. Yo, Snan, thank you for the super. We need a Huberdeau Kachuk level trade. I could get on board with that, obviously. Kind of been talking about it for a minute. A big piece needs to get shipped to really mold the identity of this team closer to what it needs to be. And I think, quite frankly, they're pretty far away from the identity of a winning hockey club. I think, it starts, if you want to start getting this thing back on track, it starts with trading out a core piece and bringing in some nastier guys. It's unfortunate, but for the folks that lived in denial that the team was soft, Bryce Salvador, the biggest homer on the planet, and I love Sal, but he's like sometimes nauseating levels of homerism on the broadcast. On the pregame, he started off basically tearing into the team and saying, to respond to that Carolina game with a 9-0 thumping on the island and not have a single penalty, not a fight, not a anything. Basically what I've been saying, they showed nothing, a spineless effort, and something's got to give. And so when you lose Sal, and even he cannot continue on the propaganda train and says the painful reality that many of us already knew, that basically this team is soft and not getting it done. I think the people that are in denial have to say, I need to come to the light. This is what's happening. This is not, fans overreacting or people being angry. This is the sad reality of what has become of this hockey club. Unfortunately. Let me get back in here. Yo, Holmes says, fire everyone, sell the team. Would love to see it. I did see the post game from Keefe. Not thrilled with it. Titus Dreams says the Dylan 1000th game loss was the end of the season. They crumpled like a 90s Kia. I honestly had a bad feeling about that game too, and I did say it seemed like that was, even at the time, to blow a 2-0 lead, to get physically beat up all over the ice, like it was one of those demoralizing type losses. And when we look back at this tragic season, it is possible that you can identify that as at least one of the biggest kind of gut punches to this team throughout the season. Art says selling the team might be the only thing to bring this team to relevancy. I mean, that would certainly be the biggest positive change that could happen, but that's certainly not happening anytime soon. The corporate conglomerate has us in their little collection of sports franchises, and I don't see them selling the team anytime soon or ever. Erickson said this organization is a joke. Jay Snow, honestly, just sell at this point. World's Worst Gamer, Ottawa continuing to struggle. Brady Tkachuk rumors starting to heat up again. I haven't seen anything with that. I've told you guys I've kind of mentally checked out of that and given up on that as well. But if there's ever any validity to Brady Tkachuk being shopped, I certainly, as Fitzgerald, or if someone else is possibly the GM, but it probably will be Fitz, I would make the most undeniable offer to land Brady. I would trade half our team for Brady Tkachuk. B now says Keith maybe inherited a team that was overestimated on paper. Yeah, I mean, this team has been picked the past few seasons. I want to say they've been in the top 6 or so teams per Vegas betting odds to win the cup, which is pathetic. I mean, you're a top 6 to 8 team to win the cup by Vegas odds, and you come out and do this, and you miss the playoffs 2 of those 3 years. It's pretty wild. NJ viewer says, nice guy is Keith, but he has to go. Moose Man says we need 6 Brady Tkachuks. I would settle for 1 for the Brady Tkachuk. Art says, Suk always said this team has serious issues. Now it takes them to be in the gutter for some of you to open your blind eyes. World's worst gamer, 0 even strength goals in 2 games. Go Devils. Yeah, I mean, the scoring, or inability to score, I should say, continues on, right? I mean, this team has showed for the majority of the season that scoring goals is a real challenging issue for them. And you saw it again tonight. 1 goal tonight on the power play. I totally thought we were going to get shut out. But yeah, 0 even strength goals through 2 games and 1 total goal. Completely painful stuff. Crazy Alex, I guess this is the team for the rest of the season. No changes. We may get a Daniel Sprong type at the deadline, but that'll be about it. I fell behind her. And you're not going to see anything significant. How I got here, Jeremy Proper. Come on, peeps. 285 and 53 likes. Smash the like for your boy on the one-man show. Thank you very much, Jeremy. Thank you. Hit the thumbs up for your boy. I mean, you guys are going to get me down the Brady Tkachuk black hole on the internet tonight, but I can't see them trading him. Ottawa knows what they have in him. Why would they move him? Mary says dismantle the entire team and start over. Jersey, Winnipeg Jets, yeah, who are also in the basement here, licking their chops knowing the Devils are heading to town. At this point, I'm hoping they keep losing. I'm bitter. I can never root for them to lose, and I've seen a lot of people on X and things being like, oh, if they lose, hopefully that some change happens. Like, I can never root for my team to lose, period, and especially not for some kind of false hope that if they lose enough, Fitz will get canned, because I don't think it's going to happen. Ninja Foot says the season is over. I completely agree. Mateo, sell high on the trade deadline and start the rebuild. I mean, it could possibly be like a revamp, retweak type of situation, but we will see. Will it be a full-blown rebuild, or will it be a retool? The Hockey Pal says Brady wants to play for an American team. You already said so. The sad part is he probably would, if he was going to get dealt, he probably wants no part of coming here. I'm sure he's pretty aware of what a disaster this team has been. B now says Keith will be the fall guy. I agree. Unfortunately, I just think that's how it's going to go down. Will Park, thank you for the super big fan, Ace. What in your mind led to the collapse? Where do I begin? The collapse certainly started when jackhughes was injured. The team, and then, there was a lot of other injuries as well, but Hughes being the biggest one, started to really flounder when Jack was out. That was kind of the first wave of the collapse. But then, he returned with Timo Meier and Arseny Gritsuk a couple weeks ago in the same game. And the team has not looked much better from that point at all. I do think, and this is pure speculation, but I do think the collapse was mainly brought on by Tom Fitzgerald fumbling the Quinn Hughes deal. There was a report he went to Dougie Hamilton and asked him to waive his no trade clause. Dougie said no. I think that led to some ill will on Dougie's part. I do think there may have been some sort of locker room divide over this, knowing that a lot of the guys probably wanted Quinn Hughes to come. Maybe some guys didn't. Who really knows? But you have to think about, how Dougie feels knowing that, his brothers, Jack and Luke, Dougie's teammates, were licking their chops and very excited at the thought of Dougie being traded as part of a deal to bring their brother here. It does not happen. Fitz cannot make the cap space in time, fumble of the century. And then as a result, you now have a, kind of pissed off Dougie Hamilton sulking a little bit the Hughes brothers and their feelings a little bit because they thought that deal was happening and didn't. And then you probably have different players in the group kind of on different sides of it. And so I just think that kind of the ripple effect of missing on Quinn, I think really was a big deal. As crazy as it may sound, I do think that is playing a big part of this whole collapse. I really do. Titus, if they can Keefe without Fitz resigning or getting fired, then I'm truly done. It's clear who set the table and took a dump square on it. No, I completely agree, but I think Fitz, he may not do anything, but he very well may succumb to the pressure and the noise, and who knows, maybe ownership puts the call in. I don't know, but they may say we need to do something to give these people, the perception that we're trying and some sort of change. And Keefe could very easily be the scapegoat. John says the positivity died a long time ago. 100% for me as well. Yo, Holmes says firing Keefe because Fitz sucks would make it 2 in a row. Brandon, my only concern with Keefe is what the hell is our power play? Well, you could look at Colleton, the power play coach as well. But, the power play is just one of so many issues. In the end, the team is struggling to score anyway. Absolutely abysmal on 5-on-5. The power play has sucked. And so it's like, there's so many things that are broken. You could certainly kind of isolate specific elements like the powerless power play. But in the end, there's so many other things as well that it's like, this is a culmination of a lot of things kind of happening at once. There is no one problem area or one thing you could attempt to fix to try to get this thing back on the tracks, because everywhere you look, there's issues. Unfortunately. Xavier, thank you for the super. I bought back the next 8 games. I invited other season ticket holders to do the same. I got a lot of negative responses from fans. Oh, you're talking about from the righteous crowd that's like, oh, you're a bad fan for talking smack about the team. Those are the worst types of fans. The fans that will allow an ownership group to spit in your face and insult your intelligence, and you continue to fork over money to them. That is a bad fan. And so I fight the good fight, Javier. You're on the right side of this thing, obviously. Fans are fed up. We want change. We want this organization to do well. We are clearly aware of what's going on, but the masses aren't. And that's the reality. If you kind of have a pulse on how Fitz has botched this entire team and all of that sort of thing, congratulations. You are in the minority of knowledgeable fans. The average fan and probably the average fan at a home game is not really in tune with most of this stuff, and I'll call it the ignorance as bliss crowd. They don't really know what's going on, and so when they see people kind of talking about the team in a perceived negative way, they automatically vilify them and make them the enemy, and these fans are the problem, not the fans that are having the tough conversations, the fans that are pointing out the painfully obvious, the fans that are calling for meaningful change because they love this team. Those are not the bad fans. The bad fans are those that are trying to criticize those fans. But keep fighting the good fight, Javier. I'm curious, did you get your games bought back? Was there any resistance there? I'm very curious as to what the process for that is. I'm trying to catch up here, folks. Appreciate everybody for coming out. What a night. Random name says, very obvious there's a locker room issue. I wonder if the knife incident was really a fight or something. You can tell they've acted off since then. That would be crazy. I don't think it is. That would be wild if that ever came out, but I don't think that's the case. I think it was probably just some stupid, silly accident, but we'll never know. Gregory says, bringing torch, Sunrise Arts, this sickens me. Coach goes and Fitzy stays hidden under his rock. He's well protected in witness protection. Christopher says Keefe is gone. Let's face it, he probably is. Yo Home says, no way Fitz gets to fire another coach. If Keefe is fired or no one else, the ownership would be for life. I don't know, man. They have a lot of faith in Fitz. I don't know why. It's probably just because that money's coming in. The true report card. As long as that looks good, Fitz could coast for a while. We got hashtag FIREFITZ. Fentanyl Floyd, I've been saying for a few years now that this core will forever be known for being underachievers. Yeah, well, they're living it up. They're living up to the moniker. Dedication to mediocrity. And at this point, I wouldn't even say it's mediocrity. This is this is several steps below mediocrity. Justin says, should have kept Lindy Ruff. I don't think that would have made a difference, honestly. Again, I don't think any coach on the planet is going to make this team a winner. Now, could another coach, come in here and maybe give them a little spark? It's possible. But, this group has shown who they are time and time again. They are not good when dealing with adversity. When in the face of adversity, they kind of wither and die, and it is what it is. They are mentally, physically, and emotionally soft. And it's been on display for quite some time now. A lot of us didn't want to believe it, but the signs have always been there. But this season, we have been beaten over the head with it. I mean, there's no way to sugarcoat or kind of skirt the truth here. I mean, this team is exactly what they've shown us in the past couple games. The response to the Luke Hughes Boogate is a 9-0 beatdown. It's brutal. Gary says Torts. Brandon says, I like all the people saying fire Keefe. If we didn't have Keefe, these games would be 9-0 every game. B now says Quinn Hughes fumble caused locker room cancer. That's kind of, I do think that it's not a coincidence that things kind of started getting funky around that time. I do believe there is some sort of correlation there for sure. Rob says, that's what I'm hoping these dudes with no move clause or no trade clause see how bad it is and wave. The thing is, it depends on who it is, right? Like, if you care about winning, you would beg to be shipped out of here. But there's real life too. A lot of guys are like, you know what? Like, I have my house here, my family's here, I may have kids in school here. And to uproot their lives is kind of a big deal. And so some guys may just say, I'll stick it out and not really care what happens in terms of the team. And I think there's plenty of guys that probably fit into that kind of description. Suk says, did you guys see how many times our small and pitiful players were knocked off of the puck tonight? Timu says Torts, so he would make these losers cry. Frank, I've been with the Devils since day one, season one, which is why I can say without hesitation and with absolute certainty that this team is worse than the Mickey Mouse team. Yeah, there's a difference between a team tanking a season kind of like this, where there are good pieces in place, where there are expectations of, being a legitimate team. For me, that's always a much tougher pill to swallow than, a team that is bad that's rebuilding, or a new franchise like the Devils were in the early 80s. Like, that's easier to live through because you're hoping that you're, watching something being built and that the payoff will be coming in the near future in the form of more competitive teams. But as you all know, after a decade-long rebuild, we are supposed to be living in the bright years right now. And it's not happening. We had one bright year in 22-23, and we've regressed ever since because the GM did not realize that was the true opening of our window to be a legit contender. And now the window's pretty much closed at this point. It opened and closed pretty quick. Sometimes it happens like that. And we've come full circle. Mickey Mouse. Presify says, bring back DeBoer. I wouldn't be mad at that. Jeremy Proper also says Quinn Hughes debacle is the sole reason. Davey boy, I want this soft team to feel the wrath of Torts. It would be crazy. Timu says Jay Hughes came back to secure his roster spot on Team USA. Absolutely disgusting, and everyone knows it. I don't think that's true. I do think he wants the Devils to succeed, and I do think he was going to be guaranteed a spot on Team USA even if he did not come back. I'm pretty sure that he would have had his spot regardless. Always Burns says Torts is too polarizing for them. I don't think they'd be able to handle it. Torts is the method to attack the no move clause. That's interesting. Although some of the guys might just be like, I don't really care. Jeremy says, how many games does Jack play in the Olympics before he gets hurt again? I don't think he's going to get hurt in the Olympics. Come on, guys. Let's not get crazy. SJ says, poor Nico is trying his best, just not a goal scorer. Vecna Fitzgerald says, I want DeBoer. We have a Christopher saying Babcock. I don't want Babcock. I do like DeBoer, though. We have Guy Boucher. Timu, Robertson should have made Team USA over Fragile Jack, but like I said, Team USA is all nepotism. Guys, life is nepotism. You know? Life is nepotism. It's unfortunate. I do wish that everything and everyone kind of operated as a meritocracy where, you know, things made sense and were logical, but that's not the world we live in. And so, you know, hopefully Jack could get some good experience and learn some things from some of these guys in Italy on Team USA. But nepotism exists everywhere, guys. I stole food, so, you know. Random name. Anyone else notice how terrible Jack has been with the puck? Lazy giveaways. I counted 7 this game. I mean, I'm not going to excuse all of them. You know, guys like Jack that handle the puck so often and have the puck on their stick for a good chunk of a game are going to be, unfortunately, giving it away a lot. But, you know, that's been a knock on him by a lot of people. It comes to the territory, like I said, of handling the puck that much. And I'm not going to kill him for all of them. Some of them are more egregious than others. But obviously, everyone would like to see that cleaned up a little bit. Like maybe, you know, show a little more care with the puck. Jared says, Torts as coach and Marty as GM. I would be all for it. That would be kind of my dream scenario for me personally. Moose Man says, what coach would want to come here? Probably a lot of unemployed coaches, if we're being honest. Be now Keith inherited a rotten core exactly like Toronto. It could be the case. Jeremy Proper, this is not a slump. It's something else. Who is the cancer in the room? Dougie, Pally? Is the room divided on the Quinn debacle? I think the Quinn thing has a lot to do with it. No matter, you know, however you want to slice it, I think that really left a negative kind of stink on the whole thing. NJ viewer Torts on TNT said early season Devils will win the cup. Maybe he'd be interested in taking over a distressed team. I think he would take any NHL job he was offered right now, if I'm being honest. And because he's so, you know, maybe delusionally optimistic or high on the Devils, he would jump at the chance, I'm sure. Neil Holmes says his team has no balls. Mary, Jack was horrible in 4 Nations, got tossed around like a rag doll. I mean, he wasn't a factor, obviously. Hopefully he has a much better showing in the Olympics. We got Fitz built this. I'm not making excuses for Jack Hughes. He's definitely not a complete bust. I mean, this is where I have to, you know, this is where I get mad at the extremists. There's extremists on both sides of almost anything. Like, you know, has it been a disappointing season for him? Sure. Is it upsetting that he's been injured every single season of his career? Yes. But to call him a complete bust is insane. When he's on the ice and playing, he's pretty damn good. Obviously, he's compromised right now. He's wearing some sort of batting glove apparatus under his hockey glove, and he's not 100%. So, you know, that's not to make excuses for him. That's just the reality of the situation. But before he went down with injury, he was playing pretty damn good at the start of the season, was he not? I think most people could agree he had a very good start to the season. Now, it has not picked back up since he's returned. But again, he's not 100%. And so I'm not going to make excuses, but to say he's a complete bust is just a wild, wild hatred. Robbie's bench toss says Jack, Luke Salayev for Boldy and Faber draft high this year and start over. Billy Guerin's not going to get ripped off, guys. Billy Guerin wants to win a Stanley Cup more so than having a Hughes brothers reunion. And for that reason, he would not make that trade. I can't see Billy Guerin getting ripped off in a deal. Now, if the price was right, could there be a potential deal? Maybe. I don't think Fitz has the sack to do it, and I don't think ownership would want to because the Hughes, or at least Jack, is blockbuster stuff. You know, the fans paid to see him play. And so he is an investment of sorts as well. I just can't see it happening. Mooseman says better to wait until a good job shows up. Who wants to work for Fitz in this ownership? I mean, it's a fair concern, but if you're Tortorella, I don't know that you could risk a better job opening up and kind of you being earmarked for it. Like, you'd have to think the next opportunity he gets may be his last. And so I don't think he would pass on any job with hopes of a better one coming available after. Yoham says Jack is not a bust. Yeah, totally not. Jared, I'm going to get my head bitten off for asking this, but what about hypothetical Hughes brothers for Kaprizov and maybe retention or picks to make the money work? Would you do it? First of all, Kaprizov makes way too much money. I would not be interested in paying that contract. Secondly, as I said a couple seconds ago, Billy Guerin is no fool. He would never make that deal. No GM would. Kaprizov is a certified superstar. The Hughes brothers are not. John, NJ Devils, how you doing? This locker room is poisoned. Fitz screwed the score and choked everything Shiro left for him. Yeah, he came into a great situation. Nice building block pieces. Bratter, Nico, Jack. Loads of cap space. Draft capital. Draft fortunes that came afterwards with high picks. And there's literally nothing to show for it. Nothing at all. Thomas says Brian Burke for GM. He's on my list for sure. I certainly would be on board with that. Justin says Timo Meyer, worst trade in Devils history. That is just absurd. It's nowhere near the worst trade in Devils history it's not even close. NJ Fanatic, you can tell the team has lost the will to win. They have given up. They lost the fans. They aren't listening to Keefe anymore. And the locker room is probably really toxic right now. Yeah, everything's a mess. Everything is a mess. I agree with you, Faye. The Wild would probably laugh at you. They aren't getting rid of Boldy and Faber. Completely agree. Jersey 61 says, let's get Lou behind the bench. Oh, boy, I would love to see the return of Lou, but in the front office. Chowski is bringing the Russians. We need grit. Ritter Engine season is 100% over. I completely agree with that. Jeremy Proper says Ray gave Fitz fumble the keys to a Lamborghini and turned it into a VW Atlas. It's true. It's true. Yo Holmes says this ownership blows. Alex says at fault GM team coach. Backs and Racks says sell. Jeremy Proper says, why doesn't anyone sit? Take the A off Pally, limited minutes. They're not going to do that. That would just be, kind of performance. I think something like that could backfire and do more harm than good. Like, that's not going to make anything better. B now says, agree, Ace. This core is not it. This puzzle is missing pieces. Fire Keefe is not the answer. Moose Man, I've wanted to trade this core for years now. It's a weak, soft group. I can't say that you're wrong. Cannot say that you're wrong. Jim Chonko says, why is the core not it? Have you watched games this year, Jim? They are just mentally and physically weak. And they've shown throughout the courses of their career that they do not deal with adversity well. They do not deal with heavy and aggressive forechecking teams well. And they are capable of disappearing for weeks on end with no productivity. And so, when a team shows you as a group who they are for several years, and now we're talking about another season of the same, it's time you believe them. This is who they are. A team that is capable of getting waxed 9-0 on Long Island after that whole Carolina game and the narrative of the Luke Hughes booing and all of that. That was supposed to be the response game. And not only did they lose in the ugliest of fashions, 9-0. If that wasn't alarming to you, I don't know what is. Any team with a backbone of any kind, and especially with the stakes being what they were, you're not losing 9-0. And if you are losing 9-0, there's definitely guys getting slashed. You're trying to start fights. You're trying to do something. They just went out without a peep. A gutless performance on the island that really told me a lot. Or I should say, it didn't really tell me a lot. It confirmed a lot. The final confirmation step. What is a core? Alex, I'd give up Jack for a big center in a heartbeat, but dude isn't healthy right now. Yeah, big centers aren't easy to find either. We've talked about that around here as well. Size would be nice. Some scritty players that could produce. Yeah, some of these comments are crazy. Yeah, it's nauseating levels of homerism. It's what it is. I'm like, oh my God. That's why when he was kind of ripping into him in the pregame, I was like, all right, Sal. I'm like, finally, you're at your breaking point. But then he kind of reverted back to his old ways throughout the game. But in the beginning, he was fired up. Justin says both Timo and Bratt are bringing little to no offense. Yeah, what about Nico? They're all doing nothing, man. The entire team disappeared. I'm not going to bother to single out, specific guys. Like, this is a just tragic effort as a group over an extended period of time where no one is doing anything. We need a Kachuk. Keep dreaming. I would love a Kachuk. Never going to happen. Thomas says, get Domi from Toronto, brings grit. Wouldn't be against it. Davey Boyce is tired of hearing about Quinn. It was never going to work while we were paying $9 million for Luke. You're going to have a $9 million second power play quarterback. Yeah, that's kind of what the table was set for. It certainly would have happened if Fitz did not handcuff himself with all the clauses. It was there. The deal was basically made, and Fitz couldn't consummate the deal. It was the play the whole time. It was gift wrap for him, and he fumbled. Oh, how far away is this team from Lindy's record-setting team? They're nowhere near. It's crazy to think that this team has so many of the big-name pieces from that team. When you look at the difference in results, it's crazy. Sooks, this funniest thing was Heischer talking a big game before the game about being better, and then he's invisible, and the team loses another embarrassing one. That's why I wish he never said all that stuff. You're just setting yourself up to look bad. You're just setting yourself up to look bad. Seahawk Devil, thank you for the super. Where's your faith, Ace? We're only 4 points out with 38 to play. Trying to make our third playoff berth since 2023. I agree the stretch sucks, but saying the core is corroded, pass. Tune out the Doomers. Nah, Seahawk. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, the Doomers were right all along, man. They were. This is beyond having faith and whatever else. This is a deep-seated issue. There is some organizational cancer of some kind. Teams that are good and are worth a damn do not get beat 9-0 ever. And they certainly do not get beat 9-0 following up that Canes game. You just do not lose in that lifeless fashion in that moment. And I will agree to disagree with you on this point. There's that group showed me there's nothing to have faith in. It was confirmation that this group is spineless and will never get it done. And so change must be made. I understand you're talking about the standings with the points and everything else. Losing 9-0 in that game, in that moment, tells me, or like I said, confirms everything I had thought for the past few weeks. And, best case scenario, they get hot at some point and sneak into the playoffs. The ceiling is a first-round ouster for sure. But I don't even think they're going to make the playoffs, if I'm being honest. I think they're in free fall, and it's going to be an ugly finish to this season, unfortunately. I wish I did not feel this way, but after the same result for years and years with the same guys, at some point you have to say, this group is not it, and we've been fooled. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. Random name says, you think we can get Kachuk straight up for Nico in a second? No, not even close. I think some people it's interesting to me how so many people, like, I don't know what it is, but maybe it's optimism that we're going to get these good or very good players for minimal returns. Like, there's no way that you're getting Brady Tkachuk for Nico in a second. Not even close. Geese Feeder Ace, do you think Bratter is hurt or just mentally fragile? He's been invisible since he got rocked by Ovi. It could be a combination of both. I don't know. Sprinkling really bad luck as well. But at some point, like, for people to keep being, oh, you know, they can't score, they're snake bitten, this and that. Like, in the end, like, I don't care about these charts and how many expected goals they got and all this nonsense. In the end, they're not scoring. It's been a continual problem, and they're going nowhere. They're losing games in horrific fashion as a result. At some point, you have to say, I can no longer convince myself that this team is going to turn it around. We've seen literally nothing to suggest that. We've seen the exact opposite. They've shown us that they're checked out. Rapid blue is the new black. Everyone knows whoever the Devils trade away, they will flourish beyond our wildest dreams. Brad would be a 100-point player, and Jack would play 82 games and be top 3 in the NHL in points. It's possible. It's possible that anyone who gets dealt from here will go on to have much better results on another team. That's part of the business. But I am certainly not going to let that fear dictate not making trades. Like, it's time. It's time. Eric says, who on the Red Wings can we get for Hughes? I wish we could get Tage T for Hughes. This is the kind of team we need for the future. Of course, Brady T. You're not getting any of these guys. And they're not gonna trade Jack. You have to understand, he is the franchise player. He is the box office draw, and he's not going anywhere. Suk says Hischier's words obviously mean nothing, so strip his C and give it to no one. I think that's extreme. I don't think that's going to do anything or help anything. I think, if anything, that's another one of those moves that could kind of backfire. Davey Boy says we need a psycho on this team. I completely agree. We've needed a psycho or two for some time. They just lack that bite. You really need that bite. SJ says Brad was the only constant threat until this year. He must be hurt. Red Devil, if I'm ownership, I fire Fitz, call Ottawa and say, what's it going to take for Brady? I open with Bratt, Nemitz, Casey, and a second-round pick. It's not a bad first offer. I don't think that gets it done, but I think that's a good foundation to then start tweaking. But I don't think they're going to move him. But I certainly would make a call like this and see if you could force their hand, but I don't think they're doing it no matter what. Sunrise Art Cinema says, I remember the days where this organization was special, classy. Lou ran it like a machine. We were respected. Connor Brown even talked about it the other day. Yeah, he talked about the Devils winning championships predicated on defense. We have fallen so far from those times. And it sucks. At least for all the old timers, at least we'll always have the glory years. That's literally all we have. Random name, give me a reason not to bench Dougie for White. Politics and BS. I would have no problem with it. It certainly seems like there's going to be no possibility of moving him this year. So I wouldn't be against it, but it's just more headlines and stories. And maybe that would piss him enough to get him to waive, but I don't think so. He's probably kind of played out all the scenarios in his head, and he's like, oh, perfect. I could not even play in the games and get the $9 million. Sign me up. Trade Luke and Jack, running 2 years in a row. The Devils are good on paper. Javier says, I would trade Jack for Brady. I think most logical people would. The Ottawa Senators certainly would not. Highest Stan says, at some point it's going to hit HBSC's wallet and we maybe see a change. I don't know. I think there's enough kind of ignorant people out there where they may never see the hit in the wallet that would be required for them to make any sort of change. Jonah Tella says Mercer, Pratt, Live in a first for Brady, Kachuk, and Zetterlund. Mercer, Pratt, Live. No, that's not a rich enough package either. Man, you guys, everyone wants to rob Ottawa, huh? Keep in mind, I'm entertaining this because it's funny and I love Brady Kachuk. It's never happening. And it's certainly not happening for the packages you guys are throwing out here. Like total just robbery proposals. Keith Kachuk has already said Brady ain't leaving Ottawa anytime soon. David, good luck Fitz winning a Brady Kachuk deal against 10-plus bidders with less trade protection and more cap space. Kachuk will end up on the Sharks to play for a team with heart. I think he's going to stay where he's at for a while. Yeah. Timu says Parisi's 1 year of captaincy better than Nico's many years of failure. Well, Zach's team won 3 playoff rounds in 1 year. Nicohischier has won a single playoff round in his career and 7 total games. DMW, no consequences equals no change in play or attitudes. For sure. I almost feel like we're just so far, it's just so far off the tracks now that these little things I don't think are going to help much. I'm certainly not against them. I would like to see people healthy scratched. I would like any signs of accountability, but it seems like the only people that will be held accountable at all are guys like Paul Cotter. Jeremy Proper says these owners don't give two about hockey or even sports. See Washington and 76ers. That certainly seems to be the case. And it's an unfortunate reality, you know, that their priorities are not necessarily winning, but turning a fat profit. Alex says, what do fans do now? Just suffer as this team keeps losing? Pretty much. But don't give them your money. If you're fed up and you want to see change, the only way to kind of express your opinion or displeasure with what's going on or not going on in the case of, firings, is to vote with your wallet. And that's kind of where I'm at. That's where I'm at right now. I certainly cannot, in my right mind, give my hard-earned money to an organization that is insulting our intelligence and telling us everything's fine, business as usual, no changes, nothing being done, and is just completely fine with this team being awful. I cannot financially support that. Bobby, thank you for the super. What's up, Ace? Another embarrassing loss. It's beyond embarrassing for Sal to be more animated over Nemo not getting back on that second goal than he was over Luke and his 2 own goals. Sal is blinded by the Hughes last name. I mean, to some extent, I think everybody is. I don't know that it's as egregious as people make it out to be. But it does seem like there is, at a minimum, a little bit of preferential treatment. But at this point, these are just like little things to nitpick at. But I get it. I personally, again, am a fan of equal accountability for everybody. It does not seem like that is the case. And I'm including, front office as well. But it just seems like the loser mentality that has plagued this organization for a few years is continued on. It doesn't matter. We'll get them next game. Go get them, guys. It's really unfortunate. Official D-Head, thank you for the super. Who do we take in the draft? Will Fitzgerald make the pick? I'm not really studying prospects or anything. My only hope is, if they are drafting with their first rounder, I would hope that they pick the biggest ox imaginable at center. Find me a big Canadian center. Find me a big, rough Canadian center. That would be my number one want for this team. It has been my number one want for this team for quite some time, and would love to see it finally happen. That's a piece that's not going to help us anytime soon, unfortunately. That's a, future is bright kind of move. But I think we've needed something like that for a while. All right, I got to skip ahead here. Half Naked Frankenstein I think I'm done with Keefe. Needed to pivot to a different system or something by now. No, listen, I could certainly understand that sentiment. I don't think he is the problem. Could he be part of the problem? Sure. I'm still blaming Fitz, and I'm still blaming this underperforming core for just perpetually losing. Alex says SST got cooked on another Devils channel. Sam Wu got his ass. Well, that's interesting. True Patriot Ace, I was listening to some other post-game show, and we are all saying the same thing, FIREFITZ. I mean, anyone with brain cells, I need to know about. I'm going to have to look up this SST thing now. I guess I'll have to look into that later. So somebody on there got into it with SST. That's hilarious. Oh, man. I'm excited. I'm excited to hear about that. I will try to find that later. Does Rachel ever say anything negative? Once in a while, but for the most part, you have to realize the broadcast is going to be pretty positive and kind of upbeat. Jeff said the same Brady Tkachuk who went down like a house of cards after one punch from Logan Stanley. Is that who you want? Jeff, are you kidding me, bro? It was like a sucker punch he wasn't ready for. Yes, that is the guy who I want. Nicole, what's up? I literally apologized to my husband tonight for getting him into hockey because this is just pathetic. Yeah, that is your fault, Nicole. That is certainly cruel and unusual punishment. Oh, my God, I'm so far behind. How dare you? How dare you bring this pain into his life? I got to skip ahead, folks. I'm sorry. I fell behind a lot. Guys people are very, very chatty after these brutal losses. I wish we could drink victory drinks again, but it's been a lot of loser beverages. A lot of negativity in the chat right now. A lot of negativity in the chat. Justin says Fitzgerald is a bust. Oh, God. David says, as good as the Wild are and as much as they stole Quinn from every team in the league, now they're rumored to get Malkin. Billy Guerin's still making moves and Fitz hasn't lifted a finger. Oh, my God. If they got Malkin, I can't see it. I think he's going to stay with Sid in Pittsburgh. But, I mean, if he ever went to the Wild, that'd be quite a grab by Billy Guerin, just solidifying his roster even more. Brutal stuff. Jason, no, Timo plays a physical game when he wants to. There's some truth to this. It does seem like some games he's just not, up for it. I don't know what it is. I wish we saw it more frequently. I would like to see it more frequently from him, but who knows? There's something going on with this team, and it just seems like everybody's checked out. It's a rough situation. Official D-Head, thank you for the super. I miss Chico's and that's Maddie. Post-game show on YouTube, they would keep it real. Well, they're still on the radio. I listen to that sometimes when I get off of here. There's a lot to digest. Normally, when I'm done with these shows, I will go on the Devils YouTube channel and watch the media availabilities and the interviews that were not shown on TV. Usually, there's a few other guys. I'll rewatch Keefe. And then I will often listen to the Matty Chico postgame radio show and kind of see what they had to say. But this has been a really brutal stretch, guys. I mean, I cannot say in my right mind that I think there's any hope for this team, because I certainly don't think there is. I've just seen too much evidence now of bad play and just checking out. Davey said kill for Berkey as GM and Torts as coach. That'd be an interesting combo as well. Track control offices ace. I respected and admired Lou, but let's not forget why he left the team in those later years. He earned that right, though. I do think him coming back now, even if it was like for a transition period, I think you need an experienced GM who is not in love with these players and attached to them to make the meaningful changes that are truly necessary to move this team forward. And that includes trading a core piece or two. Like, clearly Fitz is never going to do that. And so it's going to take an outsider. And I certainly would give Lou a chance if some of the other guys I'm interested in were not interested in the opportunity. Frank, props all my fellow gluttons for punishment for sticking around through all this losing, and cheers to Ace for giving us a place to go and vent. Cheers to all of you. Let me finish it. I'm going to go get another one. Let me do a couple more comments. I'm going to get a refill. JP, Ace, I know you talked about this last game. I thought as everyone that is contacted by Devil sales team to try and sell season tickets should tell them to pound salt until you're back into the – oh, man, they're never letting me back. I appreciate that, JP. This is kind of piggybacking off of the story many of you kept pressing me for during the last live. But at this point, I don't even care. I'm well past it. And I appreciate the sentiment, but everyone should tell the sales team they're not buying tickets until Fitz is fired. True Patriot, can we think of any scenario where the team gets any better? Who will take Pally without us retaining salary? The only way this team, for me, has any hope for this season is if either Fitz wakes up, which I'm not counting on. It would more likely be an outside GM coming in and making one of those earth-shattering trades that includes, a big name that could really shake this team up and kind of shift the identity towards a at least slightly tougher team. John says the core would be it if they built a team from the net out and not around one player. The one that's going to sting me for a while is when we were rumored to be in on Connor Hellebuck a few years ago. Myself and Steve the Maniac wanted that to happen so desperately. It did not. Man, people going crazy on X. That'll be another fun part of my kind of post-game live when I get off here, where I decompress and kind of ingest all the videos and things. Oh man, and I got to remember about the SST thing you guys told me about. True Patriot team is undersized and no balls. Jonah tells us trade Amanda Stein for a real beat writer. Well, she's not a beat writer. She's the team reporter. So, you're going to get what you get with that. It's obviously going to be very positive. Stickfigs, quick question. What the hell happened to Stefan Nason? Obviously, that injury that he had to, get a surgery for this past summer, probably never, or I don't know, it's probably healed, but it seems like it's affecting him, and he may never be the same guy we saw last year. It is what it is. David S. says, everyone will probably think I'm crazy, but I still believe in this core. They need someone to motivate and push them and get them to play at their best. Keefe obviously isn't it, so change the coach. Yeah, and Travis Green obviously wasn't it, and Lindy Ruff wasn't it. I mean, at what point do you have to say, we cannot keep blaming coaches? This group sucks as a group. Jason Snow says Nason, Cotter, Glendenning all can go. I'd rather 3 AHLers. Eric Meyer, Grits, Pesci Brown, Nemitz, and Nico are the only players who I still want to stay. Dylan too, but he's on his last leg, still a trooper. Oh, Brendan Dillon, always a trooper. I like that list. Mechanicsville says, I hope this team loses until they get back home to the Prudential Center. Come on, man. Hope the fans boo the whole game. I can never root for them to lose. If they lose the next, well, it's only 2 games. But to go 0-4 on a road trip, I mean, yeah, there'll still be people going, well, they're only 7 points out. Like, how are you going to give up yet? But it's like, look at the way in which the games are being lost. It's not like they're losing these nail-biter wars that are close. They're getting embarrassed, thoroughly embarrassed. Like, how are you going to really believe that a team that's capable of losing in this fashion is capable of turning it around and being anything worthwhile? The 5-star, thank you for the super. As a sales guy, I'm tired of the Young Bucks calling me all the time. They're relentless. I'm getting calls, emails, and here's the thing, guys. They have quotas and whatever, blah, blah, blah. They're well aware that as time goes on and this team slips further and further down the standings, it is going to become increasingly harder to sell season tickets for next season. And so they're trying to lock as many people in for next year as they can now before before it's completely obvious to everyone that they're missing the playoffs. There's still going to be a ton of people who delusionally believe, even probably for the next few weeks and maybe even longer than that, believe that they're going to make the playoffs. And even if they do, like, who cares? They're going to get smacked in the first round. But until it's like ugly, they're going to try to get as many people's money for next year as they can. And I'm sure it's getting more difficult by the day. That job certainly is not easy right now. Tay, the locker room has to be completely chopped. I'm so tired of watching them take half-ass shots directly at the goalies and immediately turning it over. No one cares. Certainly doesn't seem like anyone cares. My dog for GM private equity ghouls gut out companies so they could resell them for a profit with their architect in Fitz. Harris and Blitzer are doing a great job at the gutting out part. Oh, we're fully gutted. We are fully gutted right now. Ryan says Allen is living up to his contract, unlike Markstrom. Oh, I'm super far behind. All right, we got to start speeding up here again. Jason says he wants size and physicality. Seahawk put the crack down. Davey boy, I wish we could find a guy like Arnott to suit up. We need a mean streak. How did Lou do it? It was a different game back then. There was a more plentiful abundance of those types of players, but we've talked about it on here. I don't know if you've been, you probably were here. The name Arnott comes up a lot. Big, powerful center, physical, had a mean streak to him. That is the type of good old Canadian boy. That is the type of center that this team needs, and they need players at every position like that. But, when someone asked earlier about what I would want to draft, a big, powerful Canadian center would be number 1 on my list. Yeah, 90% of the season. Zoomers are right all along. We've officially fallen. Unhinged. I hate losing. I hate losing to the Penguins even more. They are running away with a playoff spot. Our season is over. Certainly feels that way. Woodson says SST and Woodson were right all along. I wish we weren't. Ritter Engine says, no way we'll make the playoffs. Anyone who thinks they will is a damn fool. Jason says, forget the mock trades. No one player saving this garbage. Completely agree. But at this point, it's not too early to start thinking about the future. Like, if there's a guy being shopped out there that can help you into the future, you got to look at it. But obviously, there's the looming situation with the fact that Fitz needs to find $4 million of cap space just to bring Kovacevic back. And so everyone talking about all these, fantasy trades and all this other stuff is kind of crazy because we don't even have money to bring Kovacevic back. So where's the money coming from for some of these other things? I mean, it's just kind of silly. Vecna Fitzgerald said, I do Nico, Timo, Mercer, Dougie, and a first for Brady. Wow. That is hefty. Let me think about this. I mean, that would be quite the cap alleviation, but that is a wild, wild price. Interesting. My dog for GM. Why would any good player want to come here? Well, if they're getting traded, they don't have a choice. Stickfigs, Ace Drama in Ottawa right now. Do you think we can get Brady Tkachuk for Dawson Mercer and a firm handshake? So I don't know if you're alluding to that Fugazi story. The Senators actually responded to it, but there essentially was a story circulating out there that that Allmark told a bunch of the wives, Allmark got caught cheating on his wife, and then he told his wife all the other guys that cheat on it was some crazy thing that I think was completely made up, but it got enough traction that the Senators made a public statement saying that it's all BS, and they were kind of mad about it. Unhinged, allergic to scoring, not on the breakaway, not on power play, not an NHL team. We went first to worst. Unbelievable. It really is. Red Devils, I think Keefe is gone. Playoffs ain't happening. Hamilton is undoubtedly a toxic presence. He's nixed 2 trades. Samuel, no one player can fix this. The team needs to start over. D sucks and no scoring. The goalies are playing at best mediocre. Mechanicsville, the Devils are building a hole that will take 10 years to come back from. I don't know about that. But Joe Natalis says call up Diamond Hands from the from the AHL. Would love to see that. The 5-star, thank you for the super. Jason Arnott's don't hang on trees. I firmly agree. That's what I said. They're few and far between nowadays. The average player is much leaner and smaller and not as nasty, temperamentally speaking, as Jason Arnott. But if there's anyone even remotely out there that is even in the realm of what he embodied, I would certainly be very interested. And that should be the Devils' top target in terms of draft picks. A big physical center. Paul Mystic, assuming the team doesn't make the playoffs this year, we need to assume Fitz is out. Owners are clearly morons, but the booze at some point will send the message. I'm not so positive of anything, guys. I know a lot of people think if we miss the playoffs, that could be the end for Fitz, but I'm not even sure that will be the case. All right, I'm super far behind. I'm going to speed up here. Justin Smith says, give Dawes a chance. Yeah, but how are you doing that exactly? Suk says, better get your reading glasses and study up, Ryan. We're going to get a good pick. Oh, man. So sad. So sad. Arnold McKay for Neuendijk and Langenbrunner. Huge trade in Devils history. One of those trades that's tough to make that shocked everybody. But Lou Lamoriello, the wise man that he was, always knew what was best for the team. I got to look. Let me tab this guy. Ethan Belches. Oh, he's a Spitfire, huh? He plays for the Spitfires. All right, I'll read up on him later. I like 6'5", 220. Fitz will select the Swedish winger who can't skate. Jersey 61 says, keep your money in your wallet. Stay away from the rock. That's the only thing that works. Money talks. A lot of people are saying they're going to do it. I don't know if I believe you all, but what's at the play style on our own end? They don't even chase the puck. Everything's a mess. We're a mess in the D zone. We're a mess in the O zone. I just think a lot of these guys are cooked. They just seem so checked out. It's crazy. MDK said, you on Ozempic? You look thinner. I don't think I look any thinner than any time recently. I did lose a good amount of weight in the summer, but no, I did not do the Ozempic. Just a good old-fashioned diet and increase of the steps. I did show my impressive 2025 high for steps. I think it was like 41,000 or something. Pretty psychotic. I showed that the other night randomly, but no Ozempic for me. I'm too scared of that stuff. At least Luke keeps scoring. You guys are talking about SST now. Frank, someday when this core is raising, oh my God, Frank. Someday when this core is raising the cup, we'll look back at this time and have a good laugh. Sorry, dozed off for a second. Was I talking in my sleep? Send me your dealer's number too, Frank. When this core is raising a cup, I'm assuming you mean in New Jersey? Things that will never happen for 500, Alex. I would think he'd chuck at this point. Beachmasters of Chicago cut story is a lie. Well, what do you think it is? Running with the Woodson. Remember when we read every comment? I don't know what that is. Dire Distress says misery loves company. That's why so many people are here. Yeah, everyone seems to be kind of animated and fired up after a loss. The 5-star, thank you for the super. We already have the answer, Yegorov. Hopefully he is the guy. Obviously, he's not having a great season at BU right now. I haven't seen any really. I've seen a couple highlight things. Haven't followed it as close as I've wanted to. I have a lot going on, but he certainly seems like he could be the next goalie of the future for this Devils team. And that would be nice if that panned out. If something could pan out for this team. I don't think so. I actually feel great right now. My voice is just still gone. Oh, these comments are crazy. Manny, my gut tells me there's something going on in the locker room. I think you were spot on with the post-trade situation. Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing that would make sense to me. And I think I said something about it right after the deal. It was like, people's feelings were hurt in this scenario. Dougie obviously probably felt some type of way about it. Then maybe he felt some type of way towards his teammates because some of them include, the brothers were hoping it was going to happen. So it's a very weird dynamic for, something to be right there for the taking and then not happen and then kind of live with the fallout of that. Very weird. Red Devil says the hockey guy just did a Devils episode. He obviously had to. Called him a tire fire. He's not wrong. I got it. Someone told me about that earlier. I got to check that out as well. Let me put that on my list. I'm very curious about the SST fighting someone on another. P now says Brat, Timo, Nico, Nemitz for Brady. That's an insane overpay. Serves as the hockey guy is the best hockey YouTuber by far, in my opinion. Probably the OG. I don't know how he watches all the games and everything that he does. It's wild. He must sleep 2 hours a night, and then the rest of it he's either making videos or watching hockey. My dog for GM says owners aren't firing Fitz because they don't care if the team loses. The sooner you understand that, the less frustrated you'll be. Devs 1982, Fitz's NJ is where you want to be mandate somehow turned into no move clauses and no trade clauses for everyone. And now this team is a union job where everyone is protected and doesn't feel the heat. That certainly doesn't help anything. Certainly does not help anything. The call-ins will come soon. SST had plenty of times that he had a chance to call in when it was happening and didn't. So it's unfortunate that happened before the call-ins started up. True Patriot, I'm just looking forward to Olympic hockey, but wish Jack wasn't on the team, although perfect playing condition for him with little content. Captain Mafungo remembers. I told him to call in a couple times. Blasting turtle. Man. Serve says, I'm rooting for Team Canada in the Olympics. I'm 50-50 American and Canadian. Oh, so you're picking Canada, eh? Red Devil says, Palat is it Daniel Amoy? Is this David Daniel Amoya blocked on Instagram? I mean, that's kind of childish. Yeah, sometimes people, I think, get a little too much in their feelings with some of this stuff. But I get it. I mean, some of these people say wild stuff and think that it's not going to kind of carry over. True Patriot Ace, I wish I could read you my email to my ticket rep. Paste it in the chat if you can. New Jersey Devils Blood says just can't watch this crap anymore. I get it. I will go down with the ship, as you guys all know. Snow Devil Dougie, 1/3 retained. So that'd be $3 million. Should be attractive to one of the teams on his list. Maybe. There's only 10 teams. And so, you'd imagine some of them have no cap space at all. And even if one or two of them do have cap space, do they have a need for a guy like Dougie? David, I did see the Keefe. Did you catch it? Keefe got asked if he's concerned about job security in the postgame. Yeah. They're gonna keep pushing that stuff for sure. All right, let me see what we got here. The man from Jersey 201, I'm not sure if anyone has mentioned it, but when we were down 3-0, we had given up 14 unanswered goals going back to the Carolina game. What a damning stat. That is absolutely disgusting. Crazy. Sir, if something is amiss in the locker room, you could tell. Ryan says we can't even get a loser point. My dog for GM. Compared to the Devils, the New York Jets are a world-class organization. My God. Rolling. Ace, our next game is against a team that has lost 11 games in a row, and we both know that the Devils are losing that game. Yeah, the Jets, that's no easy game for the Devils no matter what. And their goalie's a good goalie, so expect to get goalied. Connor Hellebuck. Justin says, when I die, I want the current Devils owners and Tom Fitzgerald to be my pallbearer so they could let me down one final time. Man. True Patriot said, my sales guy's been warned. Do not call because I have zero interest in spending money on that product. It's a fair take. Dubs is like, always remember, Ace, the future is bright in New Jersey. Oh, I got my... The future's always bright. Wes, I just watched your video of the Jacques Lemaire ring ceremony event. What an amazing event. Oh, yeah. Are you talking about the game or the dinner thing before? But, yeah, that was a great time. Great time. Nothing I enjoy more than events like that with all the old school folks. New Jersey Devils Blood Ace, thanks for being here at the Memorial 25-26. Yeah, it feels like, you know, we're nearing the funeral. Guy like Bobby Holik would be phenomenal. The 5-star, thank you for the super. It's time to fire Fitz. We all agree. It's well overdue. It's well overdue. David S., I wonder if Dano and Bryce are miserable knowing they have to travel with this team and continue to announce the play-by-play. I'm sure inside they're both pissed off. They have to know. You know, Sal let a little bit of it out pregame, but then he kind of went back to his usual ways afterwards. But breaking news, the Devils signed Tom Fitzgerald to a lifetime contract extension to haunt us forever. Stickfix, the New Jersey Devils are not making the playoffs in 75 years. Frank the Tank. Ace, what was that about wanting to see one more cup? According to Frank, we'll all be lucky to see one more run. Well, I'm definitely not making it 75 years, so it's not looking good for me, I don't think. Jason, no, Eliash wasn't a big guy at all, but he didn't play soft. Yeah, the old guard is a different world. They were much more just complete hockey players that had a little bit of snarl in them. Like, yeah, Patty was no gangster, but he was far from a pushover. And that's all I'm asking for from a lot of these guys. Just don't be a complete pushover. Yeah, but Patty would be a tough guy on this team. And that's no disrespect to Patty. I love Patty. But, you know, guys like him back then needed to be. These guys on today's team would be dead if they played in the late 90s NHL. Just the name, Ace. I have to tip the cap to you. Popping on here after this debacle isn't easy, but we appreciate the form you've given us. We're all on this train together, and it's going straight to hell. Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks to everyone for coming out. All we could do is just kind of sit here and group therapy it out. Art says, look at the bright side. We're still ahead of the Rags. Like, yeah, how bad are some of these other teams? It is crazy. Like, we've sucked for 5 weeks, and we're still ahead. The fact that we're still ahead of anyone is crazy. We have the same amount of points as the Rangers. They played one more game than us. Ottawa has 1 point less than us, and the Jackets are in last. And look at that. The Sabres on the cusp of a wild card spot with 48 points. It's crazy how bad we are and how they're still right there. But it doesn't make me feel any better. Like I said, we've seen who this team is. Hokage, with the odds that Nico doesn't sign with us and Fitz lets him walk for nothing. Also, Fitz handcuffed the goalie situation. No, I'm pretty sure that if the team becomes aware that Nico is not going to sign there, I do not think they would ever lose him for nothing. I think Fitz would definitely recoup some assets for him for sure. Man, says Langenbrunner went on a heater during that cup run. Yep, he was a beast. He was an absolute beast during that whole playoff. George says, I think they are moving the team. This seems like what happened to the Nets. No way. They have a lease, I think, till 2038. They're operating the arena for all the non-hockey events as well. I just can't see it. Serve, even dudes that are 6'4" or scrawny, you never see a guy built like 6'4" Eric Lindros. For sure. They're all much leaner and, leaner and daintier than they used to be. Sticky says, guys, if you need help, give me your hobbies and interests, and I'll return 5 to 10 things that your money would be better spent on than the New Jersey Devils. Red Devil, I'm looking forward to Yegorov, but he ain't helping them score goals. That's true. And he's not going to be here for a few years anyway. It's all just futures bright stuff. Justin says, why do the owners and GM hate us? I wish I knew the answer to that. Jason, no, we have to be the softest team in the league. Probably. I have to believe we are. All right, back in 1 second, guys. I need a refill. We got plenty to talk about. Be right back. And we're back. More loser beverages. What's this one? Oh, this is the manly one. This is the strawberry lemonade and vodka. Cheers to all you. New Jersey Devils blood. Everyone put your ruby slippers on and click, bring us back to the championship years. If only it were that easy. Soon the Jets will start their winning streak against the Devils. Vecna Fitzgerald can't wait to wake up to no news tomorrow about Tom being fired. It's not happening. It is not happening. Lame. They are 31st in scoring, I believe. Frankly, with this roster, it has to be a system issue. Where's all the chances off the rush gone? That was their bread and butter. But here's the thing. My response to everyone saying all this is like, it's not like they're not getting chances. They're getting tons of chances, and they just cannot score. So at what point are you like, these guys just can't score? It's some never before seen scoring drought. Like, I understand people want to blame Keefe and, all these things, but chances are there, and they are not burying their chances. Stickfix THG says himself he records during intermissions, but still, I know there's not much production. It's an in-depth professional whiteboard presentation and analysis made three. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know how he does it. To write all that stuff by hand, and it's a lot. The 5-star, thank you for the super. The A-line is still the best line in our team's history. That will never be topped. That will never be topped whatsoever. I was just looking at something really cool of the A-line today, but I don't have it. I don't have it handy. I'll eventually start showing some of this stuff from the glory years because that's all we have. But I totally agree. The A-line is the best line in team history. And then right below them, the Crashers. The Crashers. George says, which player is the cancer in the locker room? I am not sure. World's Worst Gamer, I played the Devils in the reboot of NHL 94 last night. Jack and the boys lost 5-3 to the Bees and choked away a lead in the third. Just as fun as in real life. I've seen those kind of reboots of the old games with the new rosters. It definitely looks very interesting. I've been kind of checked out of video games for a while now, but that is a classic. Justin, maybe Keefe needs to throw the bench on the ice to wake this team up. Obviously, a reference to Robbie Fatorik from the 2000 season. Pretty wild stuff. Tom Fitzgerald's been America's most wanted terrorist list. Man. Celluloid therapy. Where is our jag off of a GM? Even Brian Burke said he needed to get. I did see that on Marek's show, right? Yeah, even Brian Burke said he needed to get out in the public and address this. He's never seen anything like this. Neither have I. It's unprecedented levels of foolery, unfortunately. But I'm not surprised by anything anymore, guys. How can I? We've seen it all now. There's really no reason to be surprised by any of it. Marisa, time to take off the glasses, Ace. No future, no bright. Yeah, the future's not bright. But my eyes are kind of puffy and look bad, so I decided to go with the future's bright glasses again. Snow says we're going to enter another decade-long rebuild. That would be absolutely tragic. If that happens, I will hit new levels of depression. John Fay, the future is so bright, it's burning my eyes into reality that we have been lied to, that there may not be any future. These were supposed to be the years. These were supposed to be the years. David, this team is so bad right now. The next game they actually win, they probably won't even be excited. I mean, I won't be. I'll be somewhat, like, oh, I'm glad they got the points and are still not completely dead. But it's not going to make me think like, oh, it's being turned. Like for me to get truly as emotionally invested and as excited as I was, in late October, for me to reach that point again, they would have to play an unbelievable stretch of hockey for like 2 months. And I just don't see it happening. Mark Ace, I actually thought that Keefe made a great point in his post-game presser, basically called out the team organization saying that it's been exposed as fraudulent. Paper tigers who don't put the work in. That's quite an interpretation. I'm going to have to go back and watch it again. I don't know that I took all that from it, but you know, he was trying to be transparent in his thoughts about the team, and he obviously knows they're in trouble. Celluloid therapy, the culture in New Jersey is as toxic as it gets. Tom Fitzgerald is responsible for that, and in my opinion, without a full house cleaning, it's not going to change. I agree. Got a clean house. This whole thing is cancerous, and it must be carved out. Faces are right. Enough hockey talk. Ace, what kind of food are you looking forward to most to trying in Italy, the pizza or the pasta? Both. And the meat as well. I've heard the meat is good there. I've heard everything's great there. I will be documenting. There'll be crazy vlogs. Don't you guys worry. For those interested in that, if you're not aware, I said a couple of games ago, I will be going to the Winter Olympics to hopefully see Team USA deliver, because the New Jersey Devils are not delivering for us, but I'm hoping Team USA does and can win a gold medal. But I'll be going to a bunch of games and doing a bunch of vlogs with obviously game stuff, but also me stuffing my face with everything there is throughout Italy. And there will be lots of pizza and pasta. Justin says pasta all the way. George, I agree. What is your favorite topping on a pizza? Oof, I like a lot of pizza toppings. Pretty much any meat, you can't go wrong. M. Cansania, Ace, you see the weirdness with Binnington and Hoffer in St. Louis? Yeah, was that coordinated? I saw that, you know, basically they tried to pull Binnington, and he was like, no. And then they went to look for Hoffer, the backup, and he was like down the tunnel hiding. I meant to look more into that. What the hell was that? Oh, you'll be posted, all right? There's gonna be tons of vlogs, M. Sharp. You'll see a lot of stuff from there. I'll be rolling constant footage. My dog for GM. After the Devils lose 3-0 to the Jets, Aids needs to open up the next show with the lights dimmed and the church organ playing Amazing Grace. Oh, man. Jason, these guys would die if they played on those cup teams. We have another trade proposal here. B now says Nico, Timo, Nemitz for Brady. It's an interesting one. Suk says, don't get it twisted. The 8-game winning streak is the only reason we're not in the gutter of the NHL. Completely. And it's crazy. We're still not this way. We've been a bit bad for 5 weeks. M. Sharp says, worried Ace is talking as if Fitz is still going to be here. I think he will be. Justin Smith says the crash line, best line in Devils history. I can accept that too. Just from a sheerly offensive standpoint, I got to go with the A line. But for me, the crashers are right there. 1A. Ace, the Husky star. I woke up, tried to watch the game, and my stream wasn't working, so I decided to watch the highlights on YouTube. Man, we got goalie tonight. Terrible. Suk says future is bright. Alan, Ace, not sure if this was discussed, but I see the Devils ownership has made a decision that Fitzgerald and Keefe are not going anywhere. Not that this was any surprise. Are you referring to something that came out, or are you just referring to the fact that absolutely nothing was done? The 5-star pasta, definitely in some type of marinara pizza. Milan is dope. I'm very excited. I've wanted to go to Italy forever. Bucket list item for me. I hope to go again at some point in the not too distant future after this trip to other regions. But I've heard nothing but good things. And then obviously another bucket list item for me was Olympic hockey. And so to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, as they say, was a must. B now called him 22 points in the playoffs. Absolute gritty beast. And Claude was a monster of a man as well. The man from Jers 201. I miss NJ being a 2-sport state. I was a diehard Nets fan. I just can't bring myself to root for any non-NJ franchise. I really can't either. I always liked all home teams, even as a kid. And how could you have the same kind of attachment? I don't know. People do. But I wasn't like a huge Nets fan, but I would say I was a pretty decent Nets fan. And I would go to some regular season games and some playoffs, every year. And it sucked that we lost them. It's midnight. Doesn't anyone work tomorrow? Rile up says, I keep watching Celebrini and think this is what Jack should be. I mean, there's levels to this. Celebrini's a beast. Like, we wish Jack was that, but he's not. You know, Celebrini's a different level. Yeah, what does he have? He has 67 points in 43 games. He's clearly going to shatter 100 points. So let's see. He's on pace for 128 points. I mean, that's insane. Jack's best season was 99 points. Quite a big difference. And this kid's only, what, 19? Is he 18 or 19? He's 19. Yeah, it's crazy. To put up those kind of numbers at his age, he's just going to continue to get better and better. Devs 1982, Fitz took an educated gamble on the roster being the team, and it didn't pan out. Simple. He's going to get canned, obviously, but no one can say they saw this coming. Series of unlucky events. I don't know. Even if you didn't, I mean, I didn't see the fall off coming like this, but I did see it from a month and a half ago, and you could have tried to make a deal then. Like, reinforcements could have been made before it lingers around too long. And I constantly would say that, like, listen, there's plenty of season left, but the longer this kind of goes in a bad direction, the funkier the whole situation becomes. And now a lot of people are like, this team's cooked no matter what. And I agree. It's too late to even fix it. That wasn't the case in late November, early December. The A-line is Jason Arnott, Patrick Eliash, Peter Sikora, part of our glory years, a big part of the 2000 Stanley Cup team. You could probably find all kinds of great highlights of them on YouTube. Justin Elias, yeah. World's Worst Gamer. Anyone watch Utica? What is wrong with the Bordeleau guy? I don't know. What happened with him? Jason said, Rupper said if they lost tonight, changes would be made. I wish he was right. He won't be. I saw that clip too. I don't think he said changes will be made. I think he speculated that maybe that could be a factor. Malkin, I'm getting so many emails from reps about season tickets recently. Unreal. Yeah, we're all getting bombed. We're all getting bombed. Rolling with a song dedicated. Oh, there's so many people that probably don't know this gem, but a little Drake song, Hold Up, Hold My Phone. Man, it's so true. It is so true. Ace the Husky Star dropped the like, guys. Thanks. Hit the thumbs up for your boy. Bring back the crash line. That'd be nice. M Sharp Ace, you checking out any other sports of the Olympics? I don't think so. There's just so many hockey games and there's so much other stuff to see that I just don't think there'll be time. Like in theory, I would like to see maybe one or two other things, but because of how many hockey games there are and how I do aspire to see other stuff other than the hockey games, it'd be hard for me to kind of justify doing that. Like, I'd rather go see other cities than go watch a non-hockey event, if that makes sense. Richard says, my son spent 1 month in Italy. The locals are all in great shape, eat small meals, and walk everywhere. Can spot Americans in a nanosecond. Fat. Nice. I plan on walking a lot of places and eating huge meals. Sangelis, they need to clean house, but Fitz needs to go first. He built this team, and he needs to own it. He got his chance. Now it's time for someone else. Completely agree. Jason O, 6 wins in our last 20. What a joke. Swamp Fox, Ace, love your stealing the cup short vid. Oh, God, that was from a while ago. That's as close to the cup we will get to with these owners and this GM. You think that is where the corporate stooge got the sick idea you were stealing food? No, I don't think they ever saw the stealing the cup video. And the stealing food stuff was completely ridiculous. Being out wine will be amazing too in Italy. I'm not a big wine guy either, but I certainly will try it. Just the name. I love the egg line. Elias Gianta Gomez. That was another fun one. Joshter, how's it, Ace? Are we considering tanking for the draft? Or are we trying to salvage our season? Never. I'm never embracing a tank. and would love to see the season salvaged. I don't know how realistic it is, but I will continually hope for it. I'm not expecting it, but I will hope for it. Send Fitz to the Minnesota daycare. Jay Snow, again, tonight after the second goal, the Devils just completely folded after 2 goals. That's so sad. But, I mean, listen, guys, they showed you who they were. Why is there any surprise? Evan Spitzy, thank you for the super. We're cooked. Unfortunately, I think you're right. You know, that Islander game to me was like the final. To go out there in a game like that, following up the Luke Boogate hurricane disaster, and then get shelled 9-0. It's crazy. It's really crazy. Who got better under Keefe? Nemo, maybe. Who else? I can't blame Keefe for this, but, I mean, you can make the argument for Bratter last year, maybe. Justin Smith, breaking news. Sheldon Keefe arrested for beating up Tom Fitzgerald after the game tonight. JP, I wonder how many fans from the team not to be mentioned tune into this podcast to watch our collective misery. I mean, probably a couple, but probably not a ton. I'd like to believe most people have better things to do with their time. The 5-star, thank you, sir. How do you feel about Matthews being our captain? You're talking about Team USA, I'm assuming. I don't really have a problem with it. I probably wouldn't pick him, but there's so many leaders in that team that, like I've said before, you know, letters are nice and they're a nice kind of nod to the players, but there's tons of guys throughout hockey history on every team who have led with no letter on their jersey. And so there will be no shortage of leadership on that team whatsoever. And so, you know, for whatever reason, they're going with Austin Matthews. I'm perfectly fine with it. The article said the core will be broken up. What article was that? World's Worst Gamer, thank you for the super. I don't see a comment, so I'll look if there's another one in here somewhere. At this rate, we get goalie by the Zamboni driver who beat Toronto. What a story that was. Celebrini's insane. Jersey Root says, remember when they said jackhughes was going to be a generational player? Yeah, I remember that. But generational players are not, you know, they don't come around too often. That's why they're called generational players. I do think people throw these predictions and kind of big expectations on kids far too often when most of them don't have the, you know, whatever you want to call it. It's not the likely result for this player's career. Brian J., which of our top players don't have no move clause? Start moving those bums first. Dougie and Timo are the biggest dudes that play their jack size. I mean, I don't agree about Timo. You occasionally see him get in there. But Dougie is a waste of size for sure. But, you know, this whole team has been just underachieving. And I do think this organization might be cursed in some way. It's been a rough go. Celluloid, not only are our guys not progressing, they're actually regressing. Who's in charge of player development? Massive failure. I believe that'd be Kate Madigan. But how are you going to – man, it's just tough for me. I think people do look to point the finger a lot at some of these people, but it's like they're playing in the NHL. Like, what is she supposed to do to develop them more? I'll applaud Devils Facebook for letting people speak their mind. I mean, everywhere they post these days, they're just getting completely blown up in the comments. Red Devil Screw Days, you got the number for the Zamboni driver who beat Toronto. Maybe he could steal us a few games. I don't have his number, but maybe he could. But in the end, our biggest problem really is not in goal at the moment. It is obviously Scoring goals. Frank said, say hi to the Olympics to Bill Spalding. He'll be doing play-by-play for speed skating. Okay. Piano in the afternoon. I just never trust GMs who are the ex-NHL players to succeed. They don't have enough smarts to build a team, and also most of them too risk-averse. You can't win the cup being safe. I agree. You definitely have to make some tough moves. And it doesn't seem like Fitz has the ability to pull the trigger on those. He's made some nice trades, but they all seemed pretty safe and easy, in my opinion. Shelled or Sheldon? You can't comment. What? Canadian dollar. Yeah, unfortunately we weren't lucky, right? We had 2 number 1 overalls, and Jack and Nico are good players, but they're not, McDavids and Celebrinis and guys like this. We were not lucky. Alan, Ace, the sad part of this is when we do win a game here and there, some people will think this is great and we are on our way. Only with the most delusional will think that. For me to be remotely excited, it would take a long stretch. Like, realistically, they'd have to win like 12 of 15 or something. And even then, I'd be skeptical. But that would be, a full month. Yeah, maybe even more than that. Maybe like 16 of 20. Like, it would take a crazy good streak for me to even allow myself to remotely feel the way I did early on in the season. He can with the YouTube sex. You just gave Ace like 15 cents Canadian. Faye, we can get lucky with Fitz behind the wheel. That lucky would become super bad luck in the flip of a coin. Stick a quick meter check for tonight's game and Sundays. Wait, what do you mean tonight's game? I did the win-o-meter, didn't I? Tonight was 39.1%. I showed this earlier. B now, we talk like there's some big core. It's Timo, Nico, Brad Hughes, Jack, Nemitz, and Luke. That's it. Nico will be a free agent next year. But what does that mean exactly? Ace, the Huskies car, have you purchased your tickets to the Olympic Games yet? For several of the games I have. Unhinged, what a tough time to be a fan. I hate the Pens. What should I do? Root for another team? I'm so entrenched in Devils lore and history and everything, and I love NJ culture. The team is so brutal. Yeah, I can't switch. That's what I told everybody. Despite the organization falsely accusing me of stealing food and insulting all of our intelligence and telling us that Tom Fitzgerald is doing a fine job by not replacing him, would be a lot of or enough reason for many people to switch teams, but I can't. If this was something else we were talking about, like something that wasn't such a part of my life, I would easily be able to move on from the Devils, but I can't. It's in my DNA, and so we're stuck, and many of you are too, for better or for worse. And so, yeah, I'm not going anywhere. I cannot change whatsoever, and it's tough, 15 points in 42 days also since we were first. Brutal. The man from Jersey says Jets and Giants don't claim NJ. It doesn't count to me, but thanks for creating jobs, I guess. I mean, obviously it's different than teams called New Jersey, but if they're a team that plays in your state and you could easily go to the games, like that is your home team. World's Worst Gamer, I may be able to go to that Jets game on the cheap. Maybe I will fly out to lose a peg. You're brave to go travel to go watch this team. Fitz has no balls. M. Sharp. Anyone read the article that named names of everyone in the Devils organization who built this team by committee with Fitz? Where's that? Vecna Fitzgerald, do you ever wish the team was a bunch of goons who could hit and fight with no skill, just straight up Hanson brothers? Yeah. If we're watching a team that's going to lose every night, at least entertain us. Faye, he already dodged and ducked the press and media 2 times. Justin Smith, Tom, I'm a disgrace to the human race, Fitzgerald. M. Sharp, I would take slap shot play now. Faye, it's going to be a matter of time before, I guess for Fitz, he can't hide from the media and the press forever. Snow said, I agree. I'd rather watch 12 goons play in the soft group that can't score anyway. Alan Ace, not sure if you heard Dano, but he did say during the game, how do you go on an 8-game heater and then you just forget how to play hockey? Well, this group has done it. This group has done it. James Israel says, I think they have to fire the coach. The players quit for sure. I could see it happening. Brian, Rupp posted a video prior to the game that something will happen if there's no response. He didn't say something will happen. He speculated that maybe it could. But that's speculation on his part, and I don't think anything will happen outside of maybe Keefe getting fired. But Fitz will fall on the sword, as he should. M. Sharp, maybe owners don't want Fitz in front of the press. I don't think so. Jason said, be honest, Ace, how many chicken fingers did you steal? Well, no. It would be everything I ate was technically stolen. You know, for being in a place I wasn't supposed to be, you know, getting free stuff. So it would be more than just chicken tenders. It'd be everything I ate in there was stolen. Oh, man. World's worst gamer. I believe in loyalty, but not stupidity. Richie, all right. All you fine people, I got to take Dozer for a walk and see if Fitz is sitting at Lou's Tavern. Richie D out. Have a good night. Brian J, this team consumes the majority of my life, unfortunately. Right there with you. John Fay, why wouldn't they want him in front of the press unless they're hiding something? Well, it's just he's gonna, you know, they're gonna ask him questions he doesn't have logical answers to, and he's gonna be tongue-tied. M. Sharp says, Ace, I pray they don't move the team on you. I don't think they would. Maybe it would just be like the I don't know what it would be, but like the necessary thing to save all of us from ourselves, at least in New Jersey. I'd be furious if they ever moved, but maybe it would be the best thing for our mental health. Sanjos, I'd rather watch a bunch of goons than this team. Mark, what would you say to a Brady Tkachuk deal would change the mood? 100% would. I don't know if you're aware if you just threw that name out. But Brady Tkachuk is my favorite non-Devil player in the league, and he's the exact type of guy that this group needs. So I certainly would be thrilled to get Brady Tkachuk. I don't think they're going to shop him, but one can dream. Evan says this team is full of a bunch of just Gen Z softies. Certainly seems that way. Oh, my man Chase, everyone smash the like button. Thank you, sir. Yeah, hit the thumbs up for your boy. Don't be stingy now. Suk, this team will punish all of us for being fans of it. The organization likes pain and suffering. We all need to be miserable to feed it. Terrible. JP says, I think I saw our GM on the back of a milk carton. Mark, Tkachuk for Brat Mercer in a second. I don't think that would be enough. I don't think that would be enough. Yeah, Ottawa would laugh. Yogurt. I hate yogurt even with strawberries. Chase Nuss says, I can't believe that's the actual story. But believe it, sir. That is the actual story. The 5 stars, is it even worth sitting in the 200s? Are you referring to at Prudential Center or somewhere else? It's obviously a little higher, but, you know, there's no seat that, in my opinion, it's not worth sitting in. Now, I would tell you to do a cost analysis to see what, you know, what that seat would cost versus maybe a better seat and then make a judgment from there. But I certainly think it's worth sitting in. Stick Fix, if I were the Taylor Ham, if it were the Taylor Ham company doing this bad, Ace would start calling it pork rolls. Can't let go of the Devils, though. I would be able to drop a lot of things after, you know, after just the incident that I told you guys about alone would be enough for me to drop a lot of things. Never mind the team being as horrible as they are and not making any changes. But no matter what, I'm here. The man from Jersey says, if they want to claim New York, go play in New York. Imagine the Nets playing in Brooklyn but still being named the New Jersey Nets. We always get the short end of the stick. No, it is kind of crappy. I get it. Red Devil, even if you did steal chicken tenders, it's justifiable. What they charge for chicken tenders, The Rock, is borderline criminal, even for North Jersey. Just to reiterate, I stole absolutely nothing and was a paying customer and had a valid ticket to be where I was and consume the food for the paying customer. But yeah, the food is ridiculously priced. No one out pizzas the Hut. Oh man, I loved Pizza Hut when I was a kid. So good. So good. Sandro says they can get any coach, the team will still suck. The team is frail. That's kind of where I'm at. Fitz is frail too. I'm just a sad New Jersey sports fan. One day it'll be a two-team state again. You really think? And what do you think they're going to get? A basketball team? Sandra says Fitz doesn't know how to assess a player's mental fortitude. It is possible. It's definitely possible. The mental side of sports is very big. Eric says first step after firing Fitz, get out from under the BS MSG deal and do our own. Colorado has just shown exactly how successful it could be. What is their they have their own network? M. Sharps is all about the Jersey article. Under no circumstances should the Devils' next GM be an internal hire. I agree to that. I agree with that outside of Marty. I wouldn't give the job to anyone in this current administration outside of Marty. You caught their stunt doubles. What is that about? Did my donation not come in? If you mean a super chat, no. There is no super from you, sir. Or maybe was there one earlier? No. There's nothing there. Donate to the Luke Hughes Foundation by accident. Jay Snow, Fitz is horrible in front of a mic, and I'm still wondering what a Swiss jackknife is. You guys are funny. Stick thinks I believe NJ deserves a winning hockey team. Thus, the New Jersey Scouts will be the newest team to the NHL, and Garden State will once again have two teams to its name. There'll never be another hockey team, but that'd be crazy. Mark, who would take over for Keefe internally if he got canned? Could a deal with DeBoer get done that quickly? Of course it could. Yeah, that's very easy. A coach is much easier than a GM. We got more trade proposals. Timo, Nemitz, Nico, and a pick for Brady. Man, I'd rather give multiple picks and not trade like multiple core pieces. It seems like you'd have to trade one for sure, and then maybe Nemitz, and then like multiple picks. John Fay, Ace, what are your thoughts on the $300 million renovation that's going to happen to the Prudential Center? It's interesting. It's interesting that you mentioned that, because I will have a video coming out on this topic in the next couple days. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. I have a video coming out on this exact topic. Amagi says Ace got the last smash burger before Vince can get one. Antonio says, bro, F Prudential, how the manner of how they sell tickets to people is erroneous. What, are you getting flooded with calls and emails as well? Alan, Ace, I never thought I would see it, but this year's team is almost as bad as that 1982 team, and they were bad. Antonio, New Jersey Devils are a losing hockey club, so inconsistent. Yeah, they're brutal, man. Sandra says, Pizza Hut changed the crust. It sucks. I haven't had Pizza Hut in years and years. But I actually would like to have it sometime soon now that you guys brought it up. I kind of forgot about it. There's not really one super close to me. Suk says, screw this team. I'm going to take up watching poker. It's usually on late after the games, and funny enough, it's more enjoyable on most nights. I have a buddy that loves watching poker. JP says, I hate to say it, hire Torts. I would love to see that if Keefe is fired. Evan, the Jets are the worst team in the NHL. I fully expect us to lose them because we are a soft team. I mean, it's not going to be easy. Red Devil says, I wouldn't give the job to Marty. He said he doesn't want the job. He never flat out said that. No, it did not show up, Ace. But thank you. It did not show up though. It pops up in this little column. Maybe it's delayed or something. I haven't. One hasn't popped up in a while. Be now, Ace. Being real with you, for the Devils doing you dirty, do you think that soured you more on NJ chances? Very fair question, and I'm gonna say absolutely not. You know, they did me dirty a really long time ago, and I was still very high on the team for a while. And so I could see people thinking that that could play a part, but like it absolutely did not. I'm being perfectly honest. I was still very high on the team and very optimistic for a very long time after that happened. And then it quickly got very ugly. And that's what's, soured me on their chances is just look at what has happened in recent times, getting shut out multiple times, just being lifeless, not being engaged physically, getting crushed 9-0 in a huge game on the island. Like there's the reality of what has gone on the ice is the sole factors for what has soured me on the team. I'd give the GM job to Torts over Marty. I mean, I don't think Torts wants a front office job. Maybe he does. I don't know. Yeah, I'd rather Torts behind the bench and not the GM desk as well. Fitz called the league to find hockey players, and Marty wasn't mentioned in an article. I'm sure Ronan views the team on the ice and the suits that run the other departments as separate entities. Correct. Nonetheless, the team on the ice is screwing him almost just as badly. No, yeah, they're totally different things to me. Like I said, I'll always love this team. I absolutely hate the organization. They are separate entities for sure, Suk. The man from Jers, I definitely think so. The problem was the Nets played in a poor location and sucked for decades. Yeah, but then they didn't suck. Jason Kidd came and it was fun. Kidd, Kenyon Martin, Richard Jefferson, they went to back-to-back finals. Unfortunately, ran into two dynasties, the Kobe and Shaq Lakers, and then the Tim Duncan, Tony Parker Spurs. But they had some great battles with the Celtics. Antoine Walker, Paul Pierce. I think they played them in the Eastern Conference Finals. There were some great playoff games there. Mark says Ottawa wants players that will help now, thus Mercer, Bratt, and a third-level piece. I'm totally on board with any type of trades like this. John Fay, I hope they do better upgrades and make the arena better than it was now. Team Bajos, not only does the team suck, they will steal your money through taxes to pay for renovations under the threat of leaving the state. Lord have mercy. They're also, as far as I know, I don't know that they threatened to leave the state, but the lease is till 2038. John Fay says you have money to renovate your arena, but you can't fire an idiot moron running a hockey team. Well, the renovation money is going to be taxpayer money. The man from Jersey might as well get to claim the Jets as New Jersey, but New York is always greedy and wants 2 to 3 of everything. Bino, isn't Marty a talent scout and a big hand in this lineup? I'm not going to believe it. Listen, is he part of this disaster? Sure, but to me, I did not, or I cannot, when you're not the primary decision maker, I cannot deny you of a potential opportunity that I personally believe he would be good at. I cannot deny him that opportunity because of his affiliation with the losing administration in place right now. He's not the ultimate decision maker. And I'm sure he's voiced his displeasure with many things that, kind of went by the wayside and was either overruled by Fitz or the math nerds or whatever. Maria, when I saw that 300 million Reno news, first thought I had they're moving the team. Hope I'm wrong. No, they have a sweet deal over there. I think watching poker is way more entertaining than chess. And I can watch it. I love playing poker, but I don't love watching it. Chase says that I can play poker, just can't watch it. There it is. Ace the Husky Star. Thank you for the super. What is wrong with my 15 cents Canadian? Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I guess there was a delay of some kind. right, now I lost my spot over here. Okay. Altitude Sports Network does Avalanche and Nuggets. I don't watch NBA, but the Avalanche broadcast pre and post is one of the best in the NHL. Of course, they stream ESPN. Very nice. Yeah, I never understood for, especially with owners that have all this money, what is the barrier to start your own network? Like, how hard could it really be? I always thought it was interesting. Art says Marty is too soft for a GM. Get him out of here. I couldn't disagree more. Jason says, love Marty, but I don't want to be the GM. You guys are never going to change my opinion on this. Jersey Roots says, I hate Torts. Dude should have been disappeared years ago. And then Red Devil said, Torts is a hard ass. This organization needs hard asses. Completely agree. Eric said, Fitz wanted nice players and those same players to like him. M Sharp Ace is a hockey fan through and through. Yeah. Jersey Roots, if Marty's smart, he wouldn't take the gig. It's very possible he wouldn't even be interested if they asked him, but I do think it would be wise of them to ask him if they do move on from Fitz. Just a name, I've said this before, we don't need sandpaper. We need chainsaws on this team. Mean assholes that are hated unless they're on your team. Big corn-fed, half-coked-out Lemieux types. Tired of being nice. Well, I'll take all these types. The abrasive bullies, the mean guys, whatever you want to call them. Certainly need it. Jason, we need to trade for picks and young players. Are you trying to do a full rebuild, Snow? Be now, Ace. I didn't think it soured you, but thought people would like to hear you say it because the fact is we watch the team. We know the chances are so bad. Yeah. Yeah, no. That happened. That happened late October, early November. And I didn't even start to remotely get, basically I got very concerned about the team late November. And now we're in a totally different realm even from there. But the wheels started to fall off. And it's unfortunate. Have a good one, Faye. Good night. He said, sorry I had to send Canadian. My Europe account wouldn't work. No worries, man. Appreciate it as always. Appreciate everybody coming out and obviously appreciate the supers. Appreciate you guys watching the videos. But yeah, there will be. Crazy Alex, the taxes better help fund a better team. Totally not related. And I will have a video coming out on this in the next couple days. I did a little journalism. Little journalism going on. No, we had 25 hits. Mark, Chuck Fletcher has blood all over his hands with this team ever since he stepped foot into the building. The team looks like hot garbage. Yeah, but again, I'm not going to hang new members of the administration when most of these problems have been lingering for a while now. The man from Jersey, those 2 finals years were a blip, but you need sustained success to gain a loyal fan base. The Devils have 3 cups, and that's why they've broken the curse that New Jersey franchises can't succeed. Yeah, but most people don't even, most of the fans now were not fans even during their last championship, which was now going on 24 years ago. What's up, Ryan? In respect, we're still here. I'll be disgusted until tomorrow, but it's just going to be it's a season-long disgust. It's a season-long disgust. I wouldn't mind seeing Lenny called up. I'm Canadian and live in Europe. I was trying to use my Europe account to send euros instead of Canadian. It's all good, man. Thank you. To me, the core is the big 4. Now, if you want to get into, Luke and Nemitz, but for me, when I say core, you specifically mean Jack, Bratter, Nico, Timo. Justin says a lot of these guys never had a prime. This guy here is dead. Cross him off then. Ryan, respect. It's like being a parent watching your child suffer and you know how to fix it, but you can't touch it or help in any way. Assembly line, you guys are all over the place. Sell it all, but we can't do a rebuild. No, I don't think it needs to be a full fire sale. I think it has to be a retooling of some kind where we may have a couple hard years. A full rebuild would be like literally selling everything for picks. I don't think they'd ever do that because that's kind of suicidal, I think, in terms of fan relations and probably ticket sales as well. M Sharp, remember who cleaned up a shit show a few years back? Billy G. Billy G's a winner. A winner. And he's going to sign Quinn Hughes. I said it that the day that he got him in the trade, I said he's going to keep him there. Any team would kill to start over with Nemitz, Hughes, and Bratt. For sure. Or you could, maybe trade some of those pieces and retain some of the other guys that you kind of left off of that list. M Sharp says Fitz is an assistant GM for USA team. Billy G swiped Quinn Hughes from him. Yeah, I think they're good friends as well. World's Worst Gamer, my local junior B team just moved to 0-32, something worse than the Devils, but at least they've been playing better. Oh my God. How did we get here? It's a long, long road of how we got here. Ryan respects because they aren't good at hockey. Literally the reason why we're here. Assembly line, I get it now. I thought you meant the younger players. I agree. Brad or Hischier could be traded, but not Jack. His contract is too good, and it's until 2030. Yeah, but no one's untouchable for me. I would consider trading anyone in the right deal, but I wouldn't do it just for the sake of trading them. It's got to make sense and it's got to be somewhat worth it. But the identity of this team needs to be completely shifted from what it is right now to more of a team with a backbone. JP, good night. I need to finish off my bottle of peanut butter whiskey. Have a good one. Is it the I tried one that I like. What is it? Screwball? Are you drinking the Screwball? Sangelis, I'd rather retool with Nico, Nemitz, and Timo. Luke will never be worth $9 million, and they'll never sign Quinn. No, I mean, you can make an argument for all different kind of combinations here. Yeah, so I guess in your situation here, you're trading the brothers and Bratter. Interesting. Right, and respect, the identity change comes from hard decisions. Absolutely. The hard trades are long overdue. We've talked about it forever. Lou made those trades that were shocking to the fan base, probably shocking to the locker room to some extent, but were the tough deals that moved the team forward. Doing these little insignificant nonsense deals is not going to move the team forward or move the needle in any way. And so the hard decisions have to come, and I firmly believe Tom Fitzgerald is incapable of doing them, which is even more of a reason why I think someone needs to come from the outside who is capable of pulling the trigger on these types of things. JP, yes, Screwball is delicious. I haven't had it in a while. When it first came out, I went through a few bottles quickly. Yeah, decisions that we all hope Fitz won't be making, Ryan, in respect. Just as I think Tom Fitzgerald's will be working at the snack bar. Yeah, the hard decisions are hard for sure. B now, Jack and Nico. Center 1 and 2 is too small up the middle for a core. No, not necessarily. I don't think that's necessarily the case. You just need to have some big guys around them. They all can't be small guys. Go get an Arnott type center. Go get some gritty wingers, But you need physicality up and down the lineup, and especially in your top six. Ryan, respect, you need a GM has little or less emotional ties. 100%. Yeah, you need someone removed from the situation that's not going to be like, how can I trade him? Like, they just look at him like an asset, treats it like a business with no emotions attached, and was like, I will deal this guy, I will deal this guy, and that's it. Unhinged, I'm so beaten by these losses, there's no making up for it. We won't go on a giant heater like Nashville a few years ago. After our one goal, they didn't even look stoked. I mean, they shouldn't have been. If they overly celebrated that goal, I would have been furious. Anything's still possible, obviously. So many teams are so bad. The fact that we're still not like completely falling out is crazy. They've been horrible for 5 weeks. 5 weeks. Oh man, Jack, Ace, one shot. What's your offer for Brady? Wow. Hold on. I need to go get some snacks. I'll be right back. I got to think about this. I'll be back 1 minute. I got to run and grab these. Man, what's my offer for Brady? So quick side story before I get into this. I'm still kind of contemplating this in my brain. I have this I have this really cool fish shaped bowl that's on my bar cart, and I typically for my whole life have had put little snacks in there for visitors. I like to have little snacks accessible right in the open that you could just go help yourself to. And I got crucified by one of my boys that comes over regularly because for a while it was filled with Jolly Ranchers. And he was like, Jolly Ranchers suck. You gotta up your game. And I'm like, you're right. I'm guilty. So I went on a little shopping spree the other night, and this is not good for my health. And I'm trying to eat healthy, and it's not going to help. But one of the or two of the childhood favorites of mine, and these will probably resonate with a lot of you 90s kids. Swedish Fish and Sour Patch Kids are elite. So I got these little, individual portion fun size or not so fun size. To me, fun size would be a duffel bag full, but they call fun size the small ones. But these are in the fish bowl. I got a bunch of Tootsie Rolls, another classic. And then obviously you got to have the Starburst. Terrible stuff. And I love all of it. But oh man, my offer for Brady. Let me enjoy a Swedish Fish while I think about this. I mean, here's the thing. You have to give to get. You're not going to steal a guy like him. So right away, you're going to have to give at least a very big piece. When I look at it, and a lot of people are going to disagree, but they're not going to trade Jack. And so when you look at the core, you can take Jack out of that list right away. Okay. So Jack's out. And then I look and we say, okay, everyone's saying this team is too soft. Many people are in denial, but literally Bryce Salvador, the biggest homer in Devils history, said they were soft in the pregame. And so for me, Timo Meier, as much as many of you don't like him, I love Timo. You guys know that. He is the only bull in the top 6. And so I cannot, in my right mind, trade him either. So that leaves you with Nico and Bratter. Nico is the captain, and he's the center. A center. A position that we are so thin at. And so that removes him for me. And by the process of elimination, that leaves Bratter. And so I love Bratter. In some world, would like to see him finish as a lifelong New Jersey Devil. But if we're talking about this potential trade, the first piece I'm putting in there is Bratter. Because you have to. Then obviously you're gonna throw a first rounder in there. I love Nemo, but he has immense value, I think, in trades, and he is going to get paid a ton this offseason. So I think they would want him. So now you're looking at, Brat, a first, and Nemo. I don't know that gets it done in this fantasy hypothetical world, but that's where my package would start, and then kind of add from there. That would be my start, though. Yeah, GM will make a tough call, not bat an eye. James, every single move Fitz has made has been garbage. He just threw a ton of money at Dylan and Pesci. I would trade both of them at the deadline. Also botching one draft after another. I think they both have trade protection, but I like both of them. You need veterans. I mean, talking about what? The defense would be very scary at that point without both of them. B now says Jack or Nico got to go. We need a bigger center on first or second. I agree with the sentiment, but would only trade them in a deal for another center. So if you're talking like Tage Thompson, who has mostly been playing winger, by the way, but is also a center, then I'd be more willing to entertain that, but not in a deal for Brady. Where I don't respect Nico more likely, I think it's time to move on from him and go in a new direction. I mean, it could happen if he says he's not going to sign here. That will happen. Alex, at least we get a couple nights break before the next disaster. I'm going to show the stats. Assembly, God, I wish we got Quinn. He's a freak of nature. Fitzgerald really messed us up. Yeah, he did. It was gift wrap for him. Gift wrap for him. Jack, need a big shakeup nonetheless. Sens look like they might need one too, but Devils really need to do something and soon. I still think Ottawa's going to try to keep Brady no matter what. Eric, dump and chase this current lineup is ridiculous. Who really is a beast on the boards that we also don't need in front of the net? We have at least 2 to 3 that are useless on the boards. Yeah. It's all part of just a poorly constructed team. The man from Jersey, I think in Newark, with a competent team and sustained success, New Jersey could definitely support an NBA team. Basketball is our best bet for a second team. NFL stranglehold by the Giants, MLB by the Yanks. I don't think New Jersey would ever be able to get a basketball team back. I think they would block it. B now, so centers play D. The third D man, and can't be small on top 2 lines. I think the centers don't have to be huge if you have some big bruising wingers. Alex, love those. I was eating Swedish fish while watching the game tonight. Very nice. Amagi, both those candies are elite, but terrible for my health. Can't keep them around or else I'd be beyond cooked. Tootsie Rolls are diabolical. What are you doing with that? I love Tootsie Rolls, man. Evan says he loves all that stuff. Jersey Roots, Brady won't come here. I don't think he would want to either. And then again, in this ridiculous fantasy exercise that you guys are forcing me to play here, I do think Brady would have somewhat of a say in where he goes. Eric, Jolly Ranchers, love it. You were going 2 steps away from grandma. Old school, I give it to you. I would do some nibs. Dude, just the watermelon Jolly Ranchers are top tier. World's Worst Gamer, we need Coleman back to say this is how to play Devils hockey. We need him now. I would like him back. I don't know how much that's going to help either. But B now, Nico, Nemitz, Mercer, a pick for Brady's my guess, you will say, but it's not enough. I mean, that's probably close. Again, I wouldn't want to trade Nico just from a positional standpoint. But I think that certainly gets their attention in this world that they're trading him. Eric says, I refuse to say we can't or shouldn't trade Jack. He's a nice, shinny player for some team that can get a true return. One that shifts the disposition of this team. I don't think his value would necessarily be what people think it is. I mean, other GMs would be super cautious. He's never played 82 games. That matters. He certainly would have value, but I don't think it would be remotely what people would think it is. Justice, I can't take it anymore. You have to start trading all of them now. I could see why you would say that. Assembly line says trading Nemo Bratton a first for Brady is 8 goals this year on a tanking team. Love Brady, but that is nutty. Bratton a second gets it done. You're insane. First of all, he also missed like the whole season. So to say he has 8 goals, yeah, he has 8 goals in 23 games. He has 13 assists. He has 21 points. He is averaging nearly a point per game. And he brings a lot of intangibles. I know people want to hear about intangibles, but if you've watched this guy play, you certainly understand the difference between his game and what the average New Jersey Devils player plays like. I still can't see them trading him. Sandless, if I'm Ottawa, I'm not trading for Bratt. I'm trading for Nemitz, and Bratt is one of the sweeteners. George says we'll see Sheldon fired soon, probably before next game. I think it could be coming. He now says Bratt got hurt on the Ovi hit, but you think Bratt, Nemitz, and Nemo not enough? Gotta throw in Nico leaving anyway. No, I mean, Bratt, Nemitz is Nemo. Did you mean Mercer? Bratt, Mercer, and Nemo, maybe? Jack, a few weeks back, I asked you about the worst Fitz moves. What are your 3 best Fitz moves? Oh, man. Do contract signings count? Have you thought about having Ryan Novozinski on a live stream to talk about this dumpster fire of a team? Not really. If I'm being honest, I'm kind of, I don't know. I'm kind of weary of, I guess, I don't want to say dealing with people, but I guess it is kind of dealing with people. I don't know. I for whatever reason, especially in my older age, I don't know. I don't get good vibes from a lot of people like towards me for whatever reason. And so I never want to kind of force something. I don't know. There's a lot of weirdness with stuff like that in my head. I could be wrong, but I don't know. But no, I'm not opposed to it, but I never really thought about it. Eric, Dylan, Pesci, Grits, Brown, Glass are all solid moments for Fitz. Think he wants to be a popular GM with the players way too much and wouldn't mind him gone. We need Cutthroat. We definitely need Cutthroat. I'm still trying to think. Oh, wait. Who asked about the Fitz best moves? Yeah, do contract signings count? Jack, there needs to be a culture change. Nothing more, nothing less for a significant change. That should absolutely be the trade of a big name player in exchange for an asset of similar value. I agree. Someone nastier. Oh, those are the strawberry candies with the jelly inside? No way. Those are awful. I hate those. Timo should have 5 hits a night minimum. Unfortunately, all of our players are lower value now. Brad is a ghost. The man from Jersey. Oddly enough, I hate watermelons. But I love anything that tastes like artificially flavored watermelon. All right. I'm going to give you top 3 watermelon things. Maybe 4. In no particular order. Watermelon Jolly Ranchers. Unreal. Watermelon Blow Pops. Also phenomenal. So we got Jolly Ranchers, Blow Pops. The watermelon Sour Patch Kids. There is an exclusive watermelon one. That is on the list. And I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to wrap it up with watermelon Bubblicious gum. Top tier. Top tier. Good night, the man from Jersey. I would love a Sam Bennett or Tom Wilson. Those guys aren't growing on trees. Sick hat. Thanks. Now, I wouldn't want to lose Nico. I'd rather lose Brat. I love Brat, but he has return value. George, we're missing the intangibles that Brady brings. We need him. Would love a guy like him. Ryan and Respect Sheldon saying, I know what this team needs. I think solidified it. That'll be written on his NJ Devils grave. A minor vague shot at Fitz has to be. I got to go back and watch it again. This hat is, I believe you could get another version. The Flex Fits are very comfortable for my fat head. Red Devil, we need a Psycho 6'6" center. Would love it. Would absolutely love it. Ice Cube, my Ice Tea, you guys talk about Twitter last night already. Twitter in terms of what? In terms of people melting down? Assembly, I listen to a lot of Ottawa radio. There's some anger towards him right now. I'm just saying that it is possible he does leave. He's 26. He hasn't gotten it done for his team. Nico has done more. I mean, what? Because he's won a round in defense of Brady Tkachuk here. Nico definitely had better supporting casts. Fred says fire Fitzgerald now. We can only hope. Those strawberry things were in all the grandma bowls. Watermelon surf sides. I mean, there was a Big Chew watermelon. Sour Patch Kids watermelon are elite. I do like the regular ones better. But Jersey Roots, you don't do seafood. You hate strawberry candies. You sure you're not Persian? Is that are those Persian things? I'm definitely not Persian. I just dropped the website link in the chat for where I got the hat. But yeah, is that a Persian thing? Not eating seafood and not liking strawberry candies? Be now Novo, not a big fan, frankly. He seems sketchy. Not sure why. I don't think he's sketchy, but he's just he's a journalist. Doesn't make him a bad guy or anything. Good night. I dropped the website in the link. Assembly line, Brady has played 6 playoff games in his career. Yeah, I mean, but who has he played with for a lot of those years? Red Devil, give me a 6'6", 240-pound Russian center. It looks like he kills people, never smiles, and delivers open ice hits like a mad elephant. I would take that. Oh, my God. My mother loves Jordan almonds. I like them. Those are very good. Oh, my God. I don't think I've seen those in years. Jordan almonds. That's a throwback. Eric, Big League Chew. Watermelon came in the pouch. I'm very familiar with Big League Chew. I just don't remember a watermelon version. Just Muslim jobs. The Persians aren't fans of it. Brandon, at least the Devils are very interesting this year. There are so many questions. What is going to happen? Who is getting fired? Will they get fined from Covey? How do they fit Covey onto the team? No, because I don't think he's going to make us stink. I don't think he makes a stink. So I think they eventually find a way to free up the space to bring him back. And whenever that is, it's going to be soon. What is John Candy's best movie? Oh, clearly Home Alone. Home Alone. Home Alone is John Candy's best movie. No, real best movie for me, I haven't seen a lot of them in years, but I'm going to go Uncle Buck. I mean, Uncle Buck is a classic. I mean, how can you not like Uncle Buck, man? John Candy and a young Macaulay Culkin, absolute classic. Jackson's ace, 3 best moves: Fitz made, trades, signings, draft. Wow. I mean, I guess you have to put the Jack Hughes extension on there, even though people are gonna crap on it and be like, he never plays and he's always hurt. But like, the Jack Hughes extension has to be on the list, so that would be on there. The Jack extension. I mean, this is a much harder question than the bad moves, sadly. But realistically, it's much easier to do the bad moves. Jack extension. Yeah, I honestly, after that, I don't even know. I guess the Nico extension, the Jack extension, the Nico extension, and I mean, the Jake Allen signing, the 1.8 million times 5 years for Jake Allen this summer, that might have to be it. Uncle Buck or trains, planes, and automobiles. Assembly line. The thing that makes me hate Fitzgerald the most is making everyone else answer for the team he's hiding, not a foxhole guy. Summer rental and who's Harry's Chrome's dope too. Oh no, so I didn't talk about that. But Pasha, and it's so funny that everyone kept tagging some fake Josh Harris account, which was painfully obvious that it was fake. But people for weeks have been tagging this person. But yeah, I mean, Pasha finally joined the FIREFITZ wagon and tagged a bunch of people or whatever. And Biz tried to act like it was crazy, but Biz isn't aware of all the things that are going on. Like it was totally warranted. And he's super late to the party. FIREFITZ was going crazy last night. It should be. It should be going crazy from now till forever. Oh yeah, Cool Runnings is a great one too. Brandon, if you really think about it, Fitz has fumbled on everything he's done except Jake Allen. Sort of. The Brown signing in the top 3. I can't. I mean, it might be top. Sadly, it shouldn't really be on any list. Like if that type of deal is cracking a top acquisitions list, that's sad. Or top moves list. But I'm gonna have to go the Jack and Nico extensions and the Jake Allen signing this summer. Yeah, Cool Runnings is a good one. I think I never saw summer rental. Great outdoors. The Josh Harris account was in Nigeria. Okay. Robin Williams, what's his best movie? I think it's Good Will Hunting. That's definitely up there. Mrs. Doubtfire is super high. Mrs. Doubtfire, and maybe it's childhood nostalgia or whatever, but Mrs. Doubtfire is probably my number 1. Yeah, Doubtfire is probably my number 1. Fitz is far from great. Sheldon said Connor Brown has been our top performing player for months now. That is just pathetic. It kind of is. But this is the kind of year that we've been dealing with. Like, it started off nice, and then it just slowly free fall. A complete free fall. All right, I'm going to get one more snack, and we'll start winding it down. Give me your final thoughts, comments, questions, suggestions. Cheers to all of you. I'm gonna get one more snack that someone mentioned in here that's inspired me. And there it is. The watermelon Sour Patch exclusives. Sour Patch. I do like the originals better, but the watermelon's pretty good too. Yeah, assembly line should be sellers now that then use assets for win now next year. The first team to admit they're a seller will get huge returns. I'd rather just go for it, but I don't know. I'm kind of torn. I don't think they should sell in the sense of like for futures yet. I think that the first thing they should try to do is to salvage the season, because as crazy as it sounds, they still are in it. I still have my doubts as to what they'll be able to do. But one of those big shakeup deals should be the priority move. You trade out a core piece and send shockwaves through the locker room. Oh, man, Hook is a great one, too. Rufio. How did I forget Hook? Hook is amazing, too. I don't know if I could put that over Doubtfire, but, man, that one's up there. Jack said if they don't win one of the next 2 games before coming home, I think someone goes probably Keith. I'd imagine if they lose the next 2, Keith is definitely gone. Next home game is going to be hell. Yeah, Rufio. Oh, I just put this up. They should try to make the trade to save the season first. Be careful when you watch Shannon's video. The way he lays out the Devil stats will make you want to puke. I mean, I'm aware of most of them. I'm not going to be surprised. Yeah, the watermelons are good, but they don't hit like the OG flavors. No, they don't. They just don't. It's good, though. It's pure sugar. Shouldn't be eating this garbage, but small doses. All right, folks. Half the teams on pace to finish under 20 points. Yeah, horrible. Well, that's it, guys. New Jersey Devils, once again, have failed us. Losing by a score of 4-1 to the Pittsburgh Penguins in Pittsburgh, have now been outscored 13-1 over the last 2 games. They've lost 3 games in a row. I do believe this team is firmly in free fall mode. There's not much to be happy about or positive about, and we're in trouble. We're in real trouble. Despite sucking for like 5 weeks, they're still like right there in the playoff race, which is the most painful thing about it. Because like I've said before, I do think the ceiling is best case scenario, you limp into the playoffs and get smacked in the first round. But I'd still take that over not making the playoffs. And I know a lot of you will disagree with me. That I will never change my viewpoint on. I always think you just got to get to the playoffs and hope to go on a run, get hot at the right time. But, you'd be lying if you said you thought this team could do some damage in the playoffs. There's just been nothing to show us or nothing Nothing as of late to give us that belief, if you're logical. Right, second night. Sorry, we'll have to subject ourselves to a shitty hockey club. Boom shakalaka. World's worst gamer. Real fruit gummies are my main candy snack now. Gummy worms made with real fruit juice are good, though. With real fruit juice, huh? This is good morning, Vietnam. Be now. Timo, 2 points in a month. I don't love Timo, but don't see him as a potential bull 30 games a year. The whole team disappeared this year, though. It's crazy. World's worst gamer. Do we even really want to cheer for these guys, though, knowing how they are? I'd prefer blockbuster trades and blowing it up. I lean towards that. But realistically, they're not going to trade everybody. And so I think trading a couple big names, or at least one, to try to shake it up could do something. I don't know. But the New Jersey Devils have lost 3 games in a row. And they're in a bad way right now. Back in action Sunday afternoon in Winnipeg. My God, I'm scared for that one. But, yeah, hopefully there's brighter days ahead, guys. I don't know what to tell you. I'm down bad right now. I'm sort of desensitized to all of it. I'm way less angry than I was after the Islanders game because I'm just so dejected and beaten. I kind of went into this expecting them to lose, and it sucks. But here we are. But all right, guys, hit the thumbs up on your way out. Appreciate all of you for coming out. Cheers to all of you. I got a bunch of cool stuff in the works, some new videos and things I'm working on. I'll always be back here for the post-game lives, and that's it. That is it. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go. Devils.